Got some latency issues in the server.
We do indeed. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network. It's Murph, it's Sam, and we are here with the championship finale of the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. It's Phoenix, Sam. It may be the bad Phoenix, but it always delivers on some exciting racing, doesn't it?
It is all led to this, Mark. Weeks and weeks and weeks of you and I showing up and these guys showing out. It has turned to this moment, this day, this place. And of all the places that you're going to pull up on, Phoenix is a good place to do because you get short track, flat track, you get speed on the straightaways, you get some precision racing, you get battling in different lanes, you got precision pit stops. Everything culminates in this particular track. And so you may call it bad Phoenix. These drivers are going to call it home for the next 2 hours.
They most certainly are, Sam, going to call it home. And you mentioned different lines, flat tracks, super speedway, high banks, the whole bit. Phoenix has got them. Multiple lanes. Heck, you don't even have to run on the racetrack here, Sam. You go all the way down across that dog leg, and we're going to see cars.
A corner? Who needs a corner?
Yeah, who needs a corner? They're going to go all the way down to that inside wall in the dog leg. You will see different drivers run the flat here in turns, what are turns 1 and 2. They are good. On good Phoenix, they are 3 and 4. Here at bad Phoenix, they are 1 and 2. You'll see drivers all the way down in the flat, and so that is where we begin. That's where we go here at what Gary Godso and I term to be bad Phoenix. It's just such an interesting layout, Sam. This track, this facility, how it's been reconfigured. Not as friendly to the open wheel cars anymore, but it is very friendly to these stock cars, and we're going to see that happen tonight. You get a little bit of everything. Phoenix, of course, was reconfigured by NASCAR, 5-6 years ago, Sam?
What, the reconfiguration?
Yes.
Yeah, it was pre-COVID, yeah.
Yeah, it was pre-COVID. I want to say 5-6 years ago. In its current form, it is exactly 1 mile long, 9 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2, 11 degrees in 3 and 4. That's the end with the grandstands. The start-finish line is down there kind of in a short chute between turns 3 and 4 and what is termed as the dog leg, which is not considered a corner, Sam. But it's considered a dog leg. That is banked. That's where you'll see drivers cut the. Course. Originally, this track also had a road course that went to the outfield of the speedway, and Sam probably remembers that one. 2.7 miles. It used parts of the oval, and then there was a special section of the track outside. They've cut that off. But if you go back and look at Phoenix in its prior, I almost said perfect, Sam. In its prior configuration, there would be a hole in the wall at that dog leg, and that's where the road course went outside, Sam.
Yeah, and it's funny that you and Gary both were, you made your sentiments known about this race facility. But when we talk about configurations here at Phoenix, we're not necessarily talking about the grand scope of the racetrack itself. The scheme of the racetrack has stayed the same. The reconfiguration was closing off the outside portion, what Mark is talking about, but also they moved the start-finish line. And that's really the biggest thing is they moved the start-finish line and rearranged the grandstands, and that's how the configuration has changed. But the racing surface itself has remained the same.
More or less. They moved the dog leg a little bit, made it a little bit more drastic. I think it's banked now. It used to be flat, and it used to be uphill, downhill back there, and now it's no longer that. The reason they moved it has more to do with the configuration of the grandstands as anything else, as Sam mentioned. As you can see, the stands there in turns, what are now turns 3 and 4, have the modern luxury boxes and so forth atop them. Those were not present at the original Phoenix configuration. The main grandstand had a lone press box. And luxury seating, well, if you wanted a luxury seat, you got to go sit on top of Snake Hill, which they have now terraced But you used to be able to see a cowboy or two riding a horse through there. You don't see that anymore. The track record here, Sam, in the NASCAR Xfinity Series 27-234, that was set by Justin Allgaier in the 2018 Xfinity race. The outright track record, Sam, care to hazard a guess?
What for overall? The fastest lap overall?
The outright track record at this configuration. What do you got?
Okay, then it would have to be an Indy car, hands down.
Oh, it is. I'll give you a hint. Tony Kanaan.
That's not a hint. You just told me.
2016. What do you think the time is, Sam?
Oh, geez. Let's see. The Cup cars are probably they're at 20. Or the Grand National cars here tonight are at 27 seconds. So I would probably say the 20-second mark.
19737. Tony Kanaan, 2016.
Oh my heavens.
Now the old configuration, which was a little bit, like I said, was a little bit flat through the dog leg, and it had some elevation change to it. Ari Lyondike, 1996, 20.791. That car is also the same car that he set that track record in. Also holds the track record at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway still to this day.
Wow.
Wow! And so that is the same car.
Ari was on to something that year, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. The track record on the road course, 50.695, set by Juan Manuel Fangio in a Dan Gurney Eagle Mark III, 1992. Sam, speaking of lap times, we've got a playoff contender, a championship contender, a Final Four man at the top. I'll give you 3 guesses as to who that might be with a quick time in practice.
I'm going to get this one right tonight, Mark, and I'm 100% confident that it is Ryan O'Donoghue.
It is most certainly Ryan O'Donoghue, 27.338, so just short of the Xfinity record set by Justin Allgaier. Of course, that was when the pavement here was very, very fresh. If I remember right, that was the first year of the new configuration. I do like Metallica's idea. Petition to move the start-finish line back. I wouldn't mind that, actually. And it's not. I know why they have it down there. But it's just such an odd place if you're battling back for a win. Because of the 2 wins, that end of the track is the more difficult one to pass on. Ryan O'Donoghue, by the way, dethroned for the fastest lap in practice. As we come to a close, Greg Evans.
Of course, I would be wrong.
20. All credit to Ryan O'Donoghue, though. That man has been fast in practice basically every week we've come to the AMA. Had the AMA here on Thursday night, and Sam, he just gets nipped here at the end. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in as we head to qualifying. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, and be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts here on P1. Let's take a look at Greg Evans as he navigates the deuce out onto the racetrack, and let's get Trading Paints loaded up here. This has been kind of a wonky server so far, hasn't it, Sam?
Well, that's such a professional word, wonky.
Wonky.
Wonky, yeah.
Leave it to me to be professional, Sam. But Greg Evans has some trouble there in the Sim Magic car. He actually gets it loose coming out of turn number 4, and Greg Evans...
Oh, cold tires are going to be a beast in this car.
They most certainly are. There's David Dunwoody in what appears to be the Dale Earnhardt Senior Bass Pro Shops throwback machine. There he is. He sits on pit lane waiting. Greg Evans is going to go back out and have another rip, Sam.
Well, he did not. I think he barely crossed the start-finish line sliding. I'm not sure if he made it all the way.
No, he did not. Did he? No, he did not.
Yeah, so he's not. He does not have a timed lap, so he actually can get back out on the course as long as there's time within the scheme of qualifying within the 5-minute allotted time. He can get back out here and try and turn another lap. And it looks like he's going to be making that effort right now on the racetrack.
He's going to have the full complement, 2 laps, as Greg Evans Here he goes through turns 1 and 2. We are riding in the passenger seat with Greg. The first lap did not count. Because that was his out lap. Here comes the second lap, and it's going to have to be the hot one through turns 3 and 4. Very slow down through there. You'll see some guys shift, Sam. Greg Evans does not across the line, and Greg Evans is in with a 27.631. He goes to the top of the leaderboard provisionally, 131.831 miles an hour.
I mean, we're halfway through this session, and there's only three times on the clock right now. There's only 3 times.
Yeah, there is. Looking at Ryan O'Donoghue right now. Here's Ryan. He's another one of our championship 4. He's coming across to complete his first lap. Big lift. And O'Donoghue is going to slingshot the start-finish line here. He's going to put all of his eggs in that second lap basket, Sam.
Yeah, get those cold tires. Get them all heated up and allow yourself to get as much adhesion in them as you can. And then he's really rim riding the top of the racetrack so that he can get the heat in those tires.
Well, and it gives you a much bigger run down that straightaway through the dog leg to try to build up some momentum as you hit turns 1 and 2. Here's Ryan O'Donoghue across the line. O'Donoghue, his lap, 27.486.
27.4.
Yeah, that's going to put him 132.528. Kendall Paul had gone to the top of the leaderboard. Not so fast for Kendall Paul. Here goes Matt Sizzler in the 3 birdies machine. So the front 3 cars, all championship contenders. David Dunwoody has parked his car provisionally 9th. Dunwoody, he's made absolutely no bones about his love for this racetrack. He says, make it a boat track and turn it into a bass fishing pond. So Dunwoody looking to overcome his fear of Phoenix. But here comes Matt Sizzler. Now, this car is not a championship contender, but I suspect that Matt Sizzler will be a contender to win this race tonight. And here he goes down through the dog leg. And we've seen all kinds of qualifying strategy tonight, Sam. Sizzler's going forward on lap 1 here.
And some drivers are very comfortable driving the car under loose conditions, which can be the case for these cars with cold tires. And I know several drivers that they feel like they have a handle on the car and they can turn a lap with the tires moving like that. But I'm not one of those guys. I like to get that adhesion.
I'm with you, Sam. We're going to get on board Matt Sizzler here as he goes down what is now the back straight through turns 3 and 4, get right down to the bottom of the speedway. He dropped a little bit lower in speed than Ryan O'Donoghue. Let's see what his lap time is. His first lap, 5th quick, the second.
It's actually just a tick slower than the first lap.
It was 24.641 is going to be his best time. Good enough for 131.804 miles an hour. 5th pass for Matt Sizzler. And I believe that is going to be all the qualifying that we're going to have here at Phoenix, Sam.
Oh, I can't wait. Now we're getting ready to go see some racing. It's going to be exciting. Good field tonight. Some great drivers here. I actually had a moment where I could go around in some of the comm rooms and talk to some of the drivers tonight. It's just and we see a new face in here tonight, David Ankerberg, or is he spotting for someone? I think he may be spotting for somebody.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he may be.
Yeah, I think he's
I think he may be.
Christian Light is going to have Donald Green on the box for him tonight. Donald Green was unable to start tonight's event. He had reached the threshold of his points, and so he has to serve a race suspension. And then Keith Graham also has a spotter, and that will be David Ankenbauer.
There you go. Tonight. Ryan O'Donoghue has the pole. He has not yet checked into the grid. Kendall Paul will be to his outside. James Hodgson, the battle in Britt, is going to split up the championship contenders. The forward-facing 88 will start 3rd. Greg Evans will go from 4th. Matt Sizzler in the 3 birdies machine is going to start 5th. And how about Lewis Hayes for 4D Raceway? He's going to be there in 6th. Joshua Siegfried is going to roll from 7th. He'll be in the 99 machine. Colby Pierce is going to start 8th. A nice qualifying run for him. Christian Light and John Hutchins are going to make up row number 5 in 11th spot. Crash Neon in the car numbered 0 on the car. It's number 12 in the scoring pylon. David Dunwoody, the final championship contender, is going to roll from 12th. He is the slowest of the qualifiers. Troy Carricker in the 94, Justin Osterman in the 53. They're going to go from row 7. And don't those two have a history? Carricker and Osterman start right next to each other to end the season. Vance Fisher is going to be going from 15th. Now, Vance theoretically has Brian Sharp next to him. I believe Brian is working race control tonight, so he will not be there. That's going to move Randy Dunlap up in the number 38 alongside Vance Fisher. Keith Graham and Robert Smith will be the final 2 starters, and there they are. 18 cars will head off.
Oh, no. Please tell me I'm not seeing what I'm seeing.
And what are you seeing, Sam?
Well, I think Matt Sisler did not get gridded in time.
Yeah, Matt Sisler.
So now he is parked in his pit stall.
Yeah, Matt Sisler is going to be parked in his pit stall.
Yeah, he's revving the engine, and he's on hold. So he will not be able to take the green flag with the field.
He will not, as they line up 4 wide here.
So what's going to happen with Sisler now is, and he just said that he let race control know that he just did not get back in time. But what's going to happen is when the field takes the green flag, then the official iRacing will release him, and he'll probably be as much as a half or more of a lap back from the field.
He will be. Now, do keep in mind that is a very fast car. Also keep in mind we will have a stage caution at lap 45 and another at lap 90. So all is not lost for Matt Sisler, as the drivers will salute the AMA fans, and we have a ton of those. Do want to thank everybody for joining in.
Tribute.
Yes, it is. 4 wide. There are your championship 4, and there is the field, and they're going to get lined up here and get ready to rock and roll. 18 cars to decide the title. Ryan O'Donohue, Kendall Paul, Greg Evans, and David Dunwoody. It is winner take all, highest finisher take all tonight, Sam.
I love it. I love it. This is just such a fitting tribute to a season that's just been so competitive and entertaining, and it's just been a great year. Mark, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and to be in the booth with you. Thank you for the opportunity. It means a lot to me, and thank you to the AMA for just putting up with this old country boy and let me just hang out for a little while.
Well, they had to put up with my Southern Indiana mouth too. So there's that. There is that. The lights are out on the pace car. We are gonna get going here. Next time through, we'll get up and join Barney in the flag stand. This is going to be fun, Sam. Not only am I looking for the winner among the, not the winner among them, but the leader of the championship 4. But I'm also interested to see Matt Sisler drive through this field, and can David Dunwoody
And on a mission.
Yeah, can he overcome it? He is not a fan of Phoenix, and so can David Dunwoody overcome his fears and get himself up toward the front? Time will tell. Ryan O'Donohue leads him toward the start-finish line.
This is the most excruciating green flag in all of NASCAR. Is the pace car goes off in turn 2, and then you have to go all the way down the straightaway, all the way into turn 3. It's just excruciating.
It most certainly is. They're going to fan out here, Sam, and this is the fun part. And we've already got a car around this, the 96 of Christian Light, and he is going to be collected. Yeah, Christian Light's going to be collected by Christian Light's going to be collected by Justin Osterman, and
he has severe left front tire damage. That contact by Osterman, that looks catastrophic for Light.
We'll go ahead and watch here and see what went down. Great looking machine there for Christian Light. K&N filters, Texaco on the side of that machine. You see the cars fan out down through the dog leg. and trying to understand what happens to Christian Light. He outbroke himself, Sam.
Yeah, I think the field was just checking up a little more than he anticipated going into the turn, and to keep from hitting the 42 of Colby Pierce, he just really gets into the binders, and depending on his brake bias, the rear end of the car just comes around on him.
Yes, it does. Sneaking through that is going to be David Dunwoody in the number 28. You see him in between Osterman and Christian Light. Watch this from Osterman's point of view, Sam.
He's going to see a 96 come into his windshield incredibly fast.
Yes, he does. And Keith Graham had a piece of that too. We're going to take a look at it from Keith Graham's point of view here. We'll get in the passenger.
Christian Light's car is under power. It is under power, but looking in the server, the left front is completely collapsed up inside the fender well.
Well, and he does have the meatball flag as well, Sam. And so there's the contact from Osterman. There's Keith Graham, but Light has the meatball, and so he's going to be in trouble here.
There'll be required repairs there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's already on the pit lane. Justin Osterman has made a pit stop for repair. Oh. He is on his way back out, Mr. Excitement, and this is a huge break for Matt Sizzler. So the pit lane start does not affect him, Sam. He's already caught the back of this field, just has to be mindful picking his way through traffic now.
Well, Matt Sizzler's no stranger to making passes. So Matt Sizzler's going to be fine. He'll work his way back up through this field the best that he knows how. If he can just be patient and allow the race to come to him. There's it's a 200-lap event, so there's plenty of time for him to make moves, plus the stage breaks on top of that. So there's going to be opportunity.
There most certainly will be opportunity. Do want to take the opportunity, Sam, to thank our sponsors for the AMA. Black Magic Studios among them. Black Magic Studios, a one-man small-time paint shop. If you need a wrap for your iRacing car, give David Dunwoody a call. He does some excellent work. You'll find his work on the side of the Indy Alliance number 69 as it rides along with my exploits, Sam. We're getting ready to go to the green flag, and this is effectively a restart of the race. And you
we can't get off on a better leg this time.
Green.
Most certainly so. There's the green flag from the cactus cam. Love these shots from Whiplash Sim Cams. They fan out. It's almost like It's almost.
That's the great shot. Them coming through that corner, man. That's just beautiful. That's a screenshot for a screensaver for your computer. It's just awesome.
Yes, that is. Now David Dunwoody is all the way down against the bottom. He's down all the way on the apron. Let's watch him. He went to the apron, Sam, and made up positions through turns 1 and 2. He's going to cut the dog leg. Watch how low Dunwoody goes, and Sizzler is down there too. He's passing cars in wholesale fashion, but Dunwoody, he was on the apron there. He's got his lefts below the line now. Talk about what that does to the handling of one of these cars.
Well, the offset of the pavement, of course, there's a little bit of banking there, and then it flattens out on that apron. And some drivers are very inept and be able to use that to their advantage. It may change the condition of how the car is handling so that it will turn in the middle a little better for them. Some drivers will take all 4 wheels and get down on the flat because they feel like they can handle it better there. I've always found that it disrupts the geometry for me, and I have a hard time navigating, splitting that the yellow line there. But I do like the race on the bottom here at Phoenix.
Yeah, I was going to say the ideal line is more or less right around the bottom. You will see 2 lanes of racing, especially
yes. Before this is over, you're going to see some drivers go to the top, and they're going to utilize that top lane like Joshua Siegfried right there. He's dominating that corner, and you'll see a lot of drivers will do that during the event. And then when they get down here into turns 3 and come to the start-finish line, they will go up. You can see Colby Pierce already at the very top. Right?
Yeah,
but you risk that wall up there.
Yeah, I was going to say Colby Pierce is up there. Joshua Siegfried has been up there. There's Colby. He's going to lose a spot to David Dunwoody. Matt Sisler has gone past. But Ryan O'Donoghue is running that top line too. If we go back to the front, and we're in the blimp, courtesy of Whiplash Simcams, you're going to see Ryan O'Donoghue running a little bit higher of a lane than most of his competitors.
I talked with Joshua Siegfried, who's running in the 3rd position right now. I talked to him a little bit before the race, and Joshua felt like he had some pace tonight, and he also kind of alluded to the fact that he had a little something extra, and he didn't know when he was going to show his cards, but he certainly felt confident that he had a decent shot at having a good finish tonight. He felt like that he wished he could have given more to the season this year, but life got in the way and he wasn't able to participate as often as he'd like. But all the consensus that I've been getting, Mark, among these drivers, as I've talked to many of them recently, is that all these drivers are so excited about next season.
Yeah, they're all excited.
That says a lot about this organization.
You know,
it really does say a lot about this organization.
You know, it most certainly does, and to have 18 cars at your season finale when only 4 can win a championship, that says a lot about the organization too. A lot of leagues, when you get
big move by Matt Sisler, wow.
Yeah, there's Matt Sisler. He's gone to the outside to say, "Hey, Lewis Hayes," and let's get a replay, just so we can.
He drove that car so deep in the corner. Lewis Hayes with the sense of presence to let him go. The car just washes up for Sisler, and Lewis Hayes does a masterful job of doing a crossover right there.
Yes, he does. There's the move. There's the replay, and there's say, "Hey, Lewis Hayes." I'll take that spot right back. And they race on.
Exactly.
Sisler has made the pass now on say, "Hey, Lewis Hayes," and so he has driven that number 35 3 Birdies machine all the way up to 6th spot. Sam, Matt Sisler.
That is hotly contested right there. Sisler and Lewis Hayes is not done yet. He's looking. John Hutchins is hot on the bumper of the 83 of Lewis Hayes as well. And then if you look right behind them, you still find that hard-charging David Dunwoody, who has decided he's going to use every inch of asphalt here at Phoenix.
Yes, today. He is. And there's David Dunwoody, but I'd be remiss, Sam, if we didn't get back up to the front, because Kendall Paul is wearing out the rear bumper of the 14 belonging to Ryan O'Donoghue. The Archway Industrial Coatings Blackmagic Studios car for Kendall Paul all over Ryan O'Donoghue. That 78 is hot. He and Greg Evans have really been the only 2 cars that could consistently challenge O'Donoghue this season. And Kendall Paul's showing you why. I tell you what, he's looking like he might make a move here, Sam.
Oh, it certainly looks that way, and all year long we've seen where Kendall Paul has been so conservative and allowed the car to come to him over the long run, and now you're seeing a different facet of Ken. Oh, big dive to the inside. He's inside of Ryan O'Donoghue here.
Yes, he is. We watched that from the roof cam on Kendall Paul. He is. We're in the passenger seat now. He had Ryan O'Donoghue. He might be delayed just a little bit, Sam. He'll get Ryan O'Donoghue lined up here and get. He had almost completed the pass. Did not pull the slide job. Ryan O'Donoghue got right back around him. But Sam, this battle for the lead is getting good and creeping into the picture. Creeping into the picture, Sam.
Well, the harder they fight, the more you're going to see this Deuce come up here and make his presence known. And Joshua Siegfried, we're talking about these 3 championship contenders up front. And Joshua Siegfried says, I want to watch this race from the best seat in the house. He's not let Greg Evans get away from him.
No, he's not. But Greg Evans isn't letting the front 2 get away from him either. Evans, what was over a second just a few laps ago is now half that. Greg Evans has closed down on the back of the 14 and 78 as they fight. Watch out for the Deuce. He's coming. Sam. And you got to wonder.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was going to say he can get there, but as hotly as contested as that lead spot is right now, he can get there. I don't think that he's going to be making any moves to try and pass anybody right away.
No, and I was just about to ask that, Sam. What does the tire situation look like here as far as degradation strategy? What can Can you run them hard for 45 laps at a stretch? Do you have to save them? Kind of what does that look like?
Well, the Phoenix is much like a lot of the tracks that the surface is just bared to sun and elements. And now you're talking about a very sandy region. You've mentioned that about South Carolina at Darlington. You've mentioned that about Rockingham, and you run into a similar type circumstance here at Phoenix, where the heat is immense during the summer. It does wear on the asphalt. There's a lot of sandy content to under the track as well as on the track. And so tire degradation is a very real thing at Phoenix. It's not like a super speedway where you get very little tire wear, but here, Phoenix, it can play into the mix very quickly, especially around this 20-lap mark right now. You'll see where some drivers are going to start having a lot of difficulty. They're either burning the right rear off and getting loose coming off the corner, or they're putting a lot of steering wheel input just to get the car to turn in the middle as it gets tighter, and so it will wear out the right front and slow them down that way.
It is, and I do want to point out too, as the tires wear, you got to be kind of careful coming off of turn number 2. And I'm going to get in the blimp and show everybody why. It also gives a great shot, thanks to Whiplash Sim Cams for those. But coming off of turn number 4, there's a bit of a ridge or a dip or a bump that can really upset the cars, and it's right there where the tunnel goes underneath the racetrack. It used to be a footbridge, the famous Goodyear bridge that was there for many, many years. But there's a tunnel there now. They put that in when they redid the track. And Sam, to be completely honest, the track is not perfectly smooth there, and it can really upset the car if it as the tires wear. The other part of it is that you mentioned, we talked about sand. This isn't Dubai. We don't glue the sand down here, Sam.
I don't use it as just the aggregate for the asphalt.
If you recall, and those out there watching the race may recall, when they built the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi, they glued the sand down in the desert around it so it didn't disturb the racetrack. We don't have those kind of billions to throw away here in the United States, but the track is dirty perpetually because unlike years past in the late 80s, early 90s, and so forth, there are no IndyCar races here any longer, although they are going back as part of the NASCAR weekend, and I think that may be a reason why, is to get some usage in the track. This track gets pretty dirty. There's no testing any longer. There are very few track days, maybe some Richard Petty driving experience stuff, and that's it, Sam. And so,
yeah, that's a good point, because they usually just open it up for car swaps, car shows, things like that.
Yeah, it's not really getting used. And I almost think that they may be bringing in the Indy cars to run in the spring with them, just to get something else on the racetrack, and especially those high downforce cars, that'll suck the sand right off the track for sure. But also it helps clean up the racetrack. We watch the battle for the lead. Kendall Paul drops to Ryan O'Donoghue's inside one more time. He just can't quite make that move stick, Sam.
It's so good up front here. These three drivers are going at it. I wonder how much of these guys are really just testing in this first segment. I wonder how many of them are really just testing to see how hard they can push the car in a 45-lap segment, and then they can check their tire wear at the end. Ryan O'Donoghue running this very high line right there and getting a big run off the top side. Greg Evans is running on the very bottom. Kendall Paul is like David Dunwoody. He's utilizing every bit of racetrack that he thinks will work to his favor. It's really good watching these drivers in this championship contention up here fighting it out.
It is. Now I will say this: we've got lap traffic. Up here. Robert Smith and Justin Osterman, Keith Graham. Those three cars are on the verge of going a lap down. You can see those cars up in the distance here. As Ryan O'Donoghue, Kendall Paul, and we're riding on the roof of the Deuce, Greg Evans, as they continue to battle. We've seen Kendall Paul's car turn absolutely sideways coming off of turn number 2 on a number of occasions, Sam. That baby's getting loose.
I did have some drivers that said on the longer run that the car just does start getting really free in certain parts of the track, and then I've had other drivers that really complained that it was exceptionally tight. Again, it falls within the scope of driving style, and then how a driver may use his brake bias or where he has his offset at and things like that. So there are some adjustments that drivers can make, but it's a mixed bag for what the end results are for some of these drivers. I know Matt Sisler is running that very high line 1 and 2, as well as Ryan O'Donoghue. They found something on that top side that they like. Whoa, Ryan O'Donoghue just squeezes it in past the lap car there.
Yeah, they're not waiting around. Good to have Mike Rigney in the crowd with us. Of course, Sam, he said he was being a noob in Battlefield 6. You're supposed to duck when the enemy fires your way, Mike. Unless his old buddy Wags forgot which team he was on and was throwing hand grenades at Rigney again, which does happen from time to time, doesn't it, Sam?
I'm sorry, I was listening to some in-race. What was that?
I was going to say, Rigney said he was being a noob in Battlefield 6. He says he needed you. He was missing his squad leader. Greg Evans has now dropped to the inside of Kendall Paul for second. Matt Sisler has made it up to fifth. But Joshua Siegfried has started to lose touch with these front three. And Matt Sisler is about 2.5 seconds behind Siegfried. David Dunwoody has moved up to 8th place, and so he continues his march forward. But the battle is for second, Sam.
Greg Evans, slow and steady, as always. He's found a way to get by Kendall Paul. Kendall Paul's going to go ahead and fight him with a crossover move here and just try to let him know that it's not going to be so easy. Evans drives it deep into turn 3 here.
He's going to wash up, though, so he's going to have to be careful.
That position now.
He's going to wash up, though. I almost thought that Kendall Paul was going to get back to his bottom side. Didn't happen. They're going to put a lap on Randy Dunlap here. And now Greg Evans.
Oh, Dunlap in the wall.
Yeah, he went to move right to get out of the way, and he almost knocked down and moved the wall out of the way instead, Sam.
Sure did, yeah.
So Greg Evans is now second. He has moved past Kendall Paul. This man, Ryan O'Donoghue, has driven out one more time to a 1-second lead while the other two were battling for second, and we've got 9 laps to the end of the stage.
Ryan O'Donoghue, I did talk to him before the event, and Ryan O'Donoghue was in really this year. I've talked to Ryan on several occasions, but tonight, when I talked to him, he was so relaxed and he was just so in his space. And so it was good to hear that, he wasn't letting nerves really take advantage of him. He felt confident. He said, I'm not going into this race that I have a 25% chance of winning. I'm going into this race with the idea that I can win this race. And so I thought that was very poignant, and it was very pointed and where Ryan O'Donoghue's mind is. And he's really, the result of that mindset is really on the racetrack right now, as he's still out to about a second lead on Greg Evans.
Yes, indeed. And stage points don't matter for these guys. It's strictly down to, for the championship contenders, it is strictly down to who finishes ahead of whom. Ryan O'Donoghue, your leader. Greg Evans is second. Kendall Paul third. That is 3 of the championship 4 in that top 3. Joshua Siegfried in the 99. He is 4th. And then Matt Sisler in the 3 birdies machine behind Siegfried. He's a couple of seconds back, is in 5th. The battle in Britt, James Hodgson, forward facing 88. There he is in the 6th spot. Very close to the number 11 of Robert Smith. But Smith and Osterman there are a lap down. John Hutchins in the 72 is 7th, and there's John. He has David Dunwoody right behind him. Now, Dunwoody is the 4th of the championship 4. And Sam, he's done a lot of work. David Dunwoody started this race in the 12th spot, so he's passed 4 cars. It's where you finish, not necessarily where you start, Sam. So Dunwoody is
That's exactly right.
he is moving forward. He's got 5 more laps to see if he can do anything else in the stage, but that is David Dunwoody. Colby Pierce
Yeah,
is
whether you like the track or not, you can't get away from the racer that's in you. And
no.
David Dunwoody's a racer.
No, and he's, I know he does. I know from having raced with him in the past, he's not a fan of this track. And to be honest, in a stock car, I'm not really either. But it's the championship finale. It's you got to do what you got to do, whether you want to fill it up with a whether you want to turn it into a fishing pond or not. This is where they're giving out the trophy. You're going to have to go, and Dunwoody is going. He's moving forward. Colby Pierce is 9th, and there's Colby right behind his good buddy David Dunwoody. In 10th is Crash Neon in the number 0, scored as number 12. Say Hey Lewis Hayes is 11th, and there's Lewis in the 40 Raceway machine. Good to see Lewis Hayes out here this evening. Troy Carricker having a quiet night in 12th in the 94. Vance Fisher. There's Vance in the 73. Keith Graham is the final car on the lead lap, and there is Keith. It is worth mentioning that Greg Evans has now halved the lead to Ryan O'Donohue, and so do want to point that out. Do also want to point out that in a couple of laps, we're going to get the stage caution, and Randy Dunlap is going to get back on the lead lap, Sam.
I was sitting there watching some of the racing back in the field where Colby Pierce, David Dunwoody, and then the lap car of Robert Smith are all back here, and then Crash Neon's back here as well. They're really battling it out.
I would they would. I would expect Colby Pierce to be playing rear gunner for David Dunwoody here. Those two have raced together a good long time. They've been teammates for a long time. I would very much expect Colby to be helping out David Dunwoody here in this situation, given their teammate Sam. I don't know that Crash Neon might be a little bit faster, but he's just not going to be allowed to build a run on David Dunwoody with Colby Pierce there. I think Colby's fast enough to hold him off. There you see him throw the block down the straightaway even. So do keep an eye on that dynamic.
Greg Evans is now, he's on the bumper of the 14 right here at the end of the stage.
Yeah, he made it all the way there just in time for the yellow flag to fly. Caution on the speedway, 46 of 200 complete. This is the first stage in the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series finale from championship finale from Phoenix. Stage 1 winner, well, it's the same as the pole sitter, Ryan O'Donohue. Greg Evans is second, Kendall Paul third, Joshua Siegfried and Matt Sisler will round out your top 5. Everybody's going to come to pit road, Sam, and one of the things I'd like to point out, it is getting a little bit darker here. It's worth pointing out that the sun is starting to set. The track temperature is down to 88 degrees. It is going to be nighttime here at Phoenix before we end this thing. And tell us, Sam, kind of what that's going to do to the cars.
Well, it's certainly going to increase grip onto the racetrack, in my opinion, just simply because as those track conditions cool off, the tires, as they get adhesion, they really do grip really well in the cooler weather, and it's going to make things more racy, just in the fact that the car will not be as loose, especially in turns 1 and 2, which is really the most critical of the turns when cars are getting loose. I know in my experience at Phoenix, when you do transitional time racing where it's daylight when you start, but it's nighttime by the time you end, sometimes drivers have a little difficulty adjusting in their head. They can't get out of their own head, and they think the car's going to perform exactly the same exact way that it did at the beginning of the race in the sunlight. But as that sun goes down and track conditions begin to change, then the driver has to adapt to those track conditions the best that he knows how.
Most certainly so. Ryan O'Donohue wins the race off of pit road. Vance Fisher, Keith Graham stayed out. Now, Keith Graham is going to come in and make his stop. Vance Fisher has remained on the racetrack, and so Here's Vance. He is scored as your leader. Keith Graham got a black flag, too fast entering the pit lane. Here's Vance Fisher. He's going to drop all the way down to the apron, and I wonder if he was just doing that to come in here at the end of the caution flag and kind of get out of the way. But Vance Fisher, your leader. Ryan O'Donohue, then Greg Evans, Matt Sisler, Joshua Siegfried, James Hodgson, John Hutchins, David Dunwoody, Colby Pierce, Troy Carricker. Your top 10. Fisher is not pitting, though.
No, the lights are out on the pace car. We're coming to the green flag here. So Vance Fisher is your leader.
He is.
He may be going in. Yeah, and he will.
He is, and this
He may have missed the pit entrance there. That may have been what caused that particular scenario.
He may have. We're going to get in the Mike Rigney seat, get in a luxury box here at Phoenix, and we'll show you what this looks like from one of the best seats in the house, Sam. This would be the perspective.
Let me say this. Fisher going in the way that he did, it caused the inside line to speed up to get even with the other line, and then that caused the entire inside line to be black flagged for not maintaining pace speed. So then administration is now trying to clear all that up for the drivers that are saying, we've got black flags. We can't.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chaos right there.
There's a lot of chaos. And so I'm
sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. I've joined. I've jumped up in the Onyx Racing League's luxury box up here. I've got to see if old Mike Rigney's got any free shrimp cocktails for me. It is lap 51 of 200 here at the Phoenix Championship finale. Greg Evans is your leader. Matt Sisler second. Ryan O'Donohue has fallen back to fourth, and we've got a caution.
Caution on the speedway, and now we have Keith Graham.
Yeah, that's Keith Graham is sideways. He'll be the reason for the caution, and let's have a look at that.
And this is just one of those situations where that is the most free portion of the racetrack for cars on cold tires, and Keith Graham just gets loose on exit there and collects on the inside retaining wall. No one else is involved. He bounces off cleanly, and he's back going straight.
And here's what Sam was talking about. That's right where the tunnel is, and that's right where you can get turned loose on cold tires. Keith Graham noses into the inside retaining wall. It's going to be good news for Robert Smith. It's going to be bad news for Keith Graham. He lost a lap in that racket, and Keith Graham also got a meatball. I suspect that car has a busted radiator. But caution back on the speedway, and the man that really got hurt out of that, Sam, was this guy, Ryan O'Donohue. With the black flag penalties and the miscue on the restart, Ryan O'Donohue dropped back to fourth, and he had restarted second.
Yeah, it was the most unfortunate of situations that really materialized for the 14 there, just simply because with Vance Fisher showing as the leader, and then he pits before they come down for the restart. Well, that, again, as I was saying a moment ago, that just causes the inside line to move up. But as those drivers increase their speed, the pace car has already gone into the pit lane. So when they increase their speed to get even with the outside line, iRacing denotes that they are trying to use an advantage and get a run on the restart. So all the cars on the inside line were given black flags. Administration quickly cleared those black flags, but it moves that line up, and Greg Evans really becomes the leader because he has the best position. Even with the restart area that Ryan O'Donohue has, all that confusion and all that input really gets into your head, and sometimes you may miss your marks.
Yes, indeed. And Ryan O'Donohue, he takes the fall back to fourth. So Greg Evans is your leader. Matt Sisler is second. Siegfried third. O'Donohue fourth. And David Dunwoody has moved up, Sam, to fifth spot. Do want to thank everybody who's joined us for the championship finale, the Black Magic Studios Grand National Series. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, and subscribe to P1. Be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts. We're right back here tomorrow night, Sam, with the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series finale.
Yep, we're going to do it. We're going to reload and do it tomorrow night in the trucks as well. And we're looking forward to just as much excitement tomorrow night in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings season finale as well. And so now the pace car is in, and the drivers are going to be coming through the corner and be taking the green flag this time by.
We're going to get right back in that luxury box, and I'm going to eat more of Mike Rigney's cookies. The green flag is out, Sam. Racing has resumed. Greg Evans gets a whale of a jump on row 2, and David Dunwoody all the way down to the bottom.
Look at Dunwoody!
David Dunwoody made a huge move down on the bottom. He's going to get by O'Donoghue. If he can pull the slide job, not quite enough, Sam.
Oh, this is going to get interesting. Joshua Siegfried's got speed on the early run, and
James Hodgson is going around in the back.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Crash Neon collects him a little bit, but it looks like everyone's going to get out of this thing unscathed outside of just some superficial damage.
They're
And that was Kendall Paul, actually, just with a small kiss to the left rear of James Hodgson there, sending him into a little bit of a spin on entry.
And there's the contact from Crash Neon. It does not take much to get a car around right there, Sam. That's where you're.
It's extremely light.
Yeah, it's extremely light. That's right where you're trying to cut the car off the right rear to make it turn. And so damage to the front.
It's just the slightest of contact there.
Yeah, it most
with Kendall Paul.
It most certainly is. So caution back on the speedway. You're seeing Crash Neon come down. Justin Osterman is going to continue to repair his automobile. This should allow Vance Fisher to get, Randy Dunlap to get back on the lead lap. But the man that we need to be watching is this guy right here, David Dunwoody, because he very nearly pulled off the pass to get himself into third spot with 57 of 200 laps complete under caution here in the Blackmagic Studios 200 from Phoenix. It is the championship finale. And Sam, you and I, Kendall Paul, were kind of talking before the race. The discussion did turn to cookies, and it wasn't Mike Rigney's mother's cookies, but Brian Sharp does owe us some cookies. And so Kendall and I have advised that we are going to protest outside of Mr. Sharp's dwelling until we get our cookies, Sam.
Well,
no cookies, no peace.
There you go. Hey, well, you've got to get results somehow, and if you really want those cookies bad enough, you're going to do what you got to do. I'm fortunate enough that my wife makes some excellent cookies, so I'm not so hard up. If I get a cookie from Brian Sharp, then so be it. Otherwise, he's doing a great job officiating this race.
You know, I would have loved for Natalie to have made some cookies. Her mom had the kids over, and they made cookies this weekend. I'm going to tell you something, Sam. They were delicious. I've
already heard about her cookie exploits.
Well, they had the kids making them. They were sugar cookies with icing, and I must say, as the official quality control for those cookies, they were 10 out of 10. No other notes.
Nice. I love a good chocolate chip cookie. My son makes a delicious double chocolate chip cookie that is to die for.
Indeed, we are back.
Baker.
We're getting ready to go back to green here. Greg Evans going to see if he can't get that jump on Matt Sizzler one more time, and he does. Away goes Greg Evans, and let's see if Ryan O'Donoghue can get himself.
There he goes again. David Dunwoody all the way to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, he's all the way down. He's all the way down on the apron in turn.
Oh, can he hold it? Can he hold it there?
Well, he's going to come back up. He's going to slide in front of Siegfried. Ryan O'Donoghue was able to avoid him. Joshua Siegfried gets loose.
Oh, he saved it. Joshua Siegfried with the save of the night so far. Oh, and Kendall Paul is into the back of David Dunwoody.
So Dunwoody used that move to go from 5th to 2nd to 4th. Joshua Siegfried, Kendall Paul both misjudge it. They take evasive action. And now the front four are Greg Evans, Matt Sizzler, Ryan O'Donoghue, and David Dunwoody.
Oh my heavens! Now what you've got, if you're Kendall Paul, now if you're in this position, Kendall Paul is now going to have to. He's really going to have to push the car like he did in the first stint. He's going to have to push the car to get back up there with those front runners so that he can stay in contention. I realized that he got shuffled back here, but he's really going to have to utilize these tires. This will be the shortest run as far as stages goes, but he's already proved that he's got a little bit of speed in the short run. So Kendall Paul's got his work ahead of him right here.
Yes, he most certainly does. But look, we know we're going to have another caution. The front four, though, tight together. Matt Sisler has gone to the lead over Greg Evans. Ryan O'Donoghue runs third. Meanwhile, Siegfried Hutchins and Paul, they're in a dogfight back there. But I don't want to leave this battle because Ryan O'Donoghue is drawing a bead on Greg Evans.
Oh, man, you stay with that, and I'll keep watching some of these battles in the back of the field. My heavens, these drivers are racing like it's the last 10 laps of the race. It is amazing, the racing that I see in the back of the field here. Troy Carricker, Colby Pierce, Lewis Hayes, James Hodgson, all these guys are fighting with all they've got, tooth and nail for these spots.
They most certainly are. Evans and Ryan O'Donoghue are battling for what, if the checkered flag fell right now, would be the championship spot. It's winner take all here, Sam. And O'Donoghue and Greg Evans, they know it. So does David Dunwoody. He is right there. Meanwhile, Joshua Siegfried has cleared himself of Kendall Paul. Kendall is now just about a second behind this battle as we head toward lap number 65 of 200. We're going to have, remember, one more stage break at lap 90, Sam.
You know, Matt Sisler, who's leading this thing, Matt Sisler, the last few weeks, you've really seen in the server, I've really started seeing more of a competitor out of Sisler, and just his vocalness and just how much he's been involved in some of the things that are going on in league and on track. And it's almost like he's invested so much, but he's also alluded that he's just got a lot on his plate right now. And sometimes that can get the emotions ramped up and it can get the adrenaline flowing. And so you could very well be seeing Matt Sisler here, concerning that it's the last race of the season, that he wants to prove a point. He wants to make his presence known as well. And considering the poor start that he had tonight, he wants to leave off this particular season with an exclamation point. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
He does indeed, and we're going to have a look off his gearbox because there's a championship being decided right behind him. Greg Evans and Ryan O'Donoghue side by side, Sam.
Now, I was going to say at the end of the first segment, when you're a championship contender and you've run that first segment and people are going to start showing their hand a little bit. You saw Greg Evans had good long run speed, but you also saw where Ryan O'Donoghue was able to maintain that lead for the entire segment. So what did these drivers learn? What are they going to carry into the second segment? Are they going to push the car harder, or are they going to try something different? Are they going to just conserve and make sure that they have enough tires left for the last segment? There's just a lot of questions and unknowns for these drivers, and what are they hiding up their sleeve? Do any of these drivers have one little small push at the end of this event that they've been saving that they don't want to share with anyone else? So there's just so many things to think about and consider in this championship race.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot to think about as you drive it. The other thing is, you know, you start thinking about what happened on that first set of restarts. If you're Ryan O'Donoghue, we're in a simulator. We know it's not going to rain, Sam. If you're Ryan O'Donoghue, knowing that you're going to get another caution here, are you even trying to pass Greg Evans?
Well, that's some of the questions that are out there that you have to wonder about. Is Ryan O'Donoghue, is he really riding this close to Greg Evans to push him, to see how hard he can push Greg and get Greg to see if Greg has a weak spot? Is he just riding here just to allow himself to stay close to Greg Evans so that they can make a big run for the championship in the last segment, even though we will have green flag stops? There's just a lot of questions that we have to ask ourselves that we won't have the answers to until after the event. There's there are a lot of strategies that these drivers can utilize to their advantage.
There are indeed, and think about this. You've got Sizzler leading in the Three Birdies machine. Greg Evans second for Sim Magic. Ryan O'Donoghue is third. And there's O'Donoghue with the Maxima Racing Oils.
Spot, Mark. Look back at this fifth spot.
And then you've got David Dunwoody. He's being passed by Kendall Paul now. Kendall Paul all the way down at the bottom of the dog leg. So those are two more championship contenders. They're trying to come to the front. I wonder if David Dunwoody didn't use up the good in the Goodyear in the first part of this thing trying to get to the lead, Sam.
Well, it was just a number of laps a little while ago that Kendall Paul just buried the nose of his car into the back of the 28. And so apparently it's not hurt too much on the speed for the 78 machine of Kendall Paul.
No, and you wonder, though, when he comes to pit lane here under this next caution, Sam, if Kendall Paul is going to have damage and if he's going to, if he's got
that's a good point,
if
Mark.
he's got optional damage, do you fix it? Do you not? These are things that...
Yeah, that's a great point.
These are things Kendall Paul, you fix it, you're going to go to the back. These are things that Kendall Paul is going to have to weigh. David Dunwoody has pretty clearly used up the tires on the 28. And then, you start talking about, you've got Joshua Siegfried. There's Siegfried. He runs along in fourth. Greg Evans has decided he's no longer going to battle. He's no longer going to battle with Ryan O'Donoghue. Evans has driven off from Ryan. He's going to take on Matt Sizzler for the lead here. I love Mike Rigney. The weakness for Greg Evans is his rear bumper. But you have to make sure you tap it 3 times, Mike. You got to give him 2 warning shots, right?
Well, first to let him know you're there. Second, that you won't by, and the third means you're coming by. That's the old Ralph Earnhardt philosophy.
That's the I call it you get 2 warning shots, Sam. If you don't heed the warnings, you get to go through the next corner backwards.
Dive here by the deuce.
Yeah, yes. Now, how much is this going to hold those two up and let Ryan O'Donoghue back into this battle? Is the question.
Well, as long as they're racing side by side, that's going to allow the 14 to close in here. They have to work the throttle. They have to be careful not to run into each other. That affects their lap speed, and that's just going to allow Ryan O'Donoghue to close this thing up.
It does. I mean,
look at this racing here. Matt Sisler's not going to give this up easily.
No, he's not, and that's something that at Phoenix you can, if you're a car on the outside, Sizzler with a crossover. If you're the car on the outside, you can put up a spirited defense here at Phoenix and make it very difficult for the car on the bottom to pass you. And now Sizzler's back in that spot where Evans is going to make it tough on him. Meanwhile, Ryan O'Donoghue's saying, you just keep going, boys.
Let me get up here and get my nose in the fight.
You knock yourselves out.
Watch this run by the deuce. Watch this run. Huge run off the top.
Yeah, there he goes, and that's going to open the door. A huge run for Ryan O'Donoghue down to the bottom. Sizzler's going to slam the door on him, though. O'Donoghue can't quite get the nose to the Three Birdies machine, so Evans leads it. Sizzler second. O'Donoghue is trying to come on that bottom and trying to grab the second spot. He'd like to set sail after Greg Evans.
Now, in all practicality, I think I would like to think that Matt Sisler, being the racer that he is, he knows these two guys are in a race for the championship. I don't think that he's going to do anything belligerent or purposeful to hold up their championship run. But he's a racer, so he's going to try and race for this win as much as anyone else.
You know, he most certainly is. Do want to file this away, Sam. We've been under green for 32 laps here. The lap times are about a second off of what the best is on the tires. So file that away for when we start talking about pit stops later. Ryan O'Donoghue is to the back of Matt Sizzler, and I honestly think, Sam, that this might be big brain racing from Ryan O'Donoghue, in that I don't think you want to be second here. I think you want to be third.
Well, for the restart especially. And it could very well be strategic that he's he's staying behind Matt Sisler here. And how much of this is actually Greg Evans has ramped up this run compared to the first run? Are we seeing Greg showing some of his cards? Are we seeing the Deuce is actually showing the field what he's capable of tonight?
I think it's a combination of that. I think it's a combination of the racetrack starting to cool off. It's now 83 in the
No
air,
question.
87 on the track. It is not windy here in the sim tonight at Phoenix. And so, I think part of this is the track is gripping up, and Greg Evans has a ton of experience here. He's run a lot here. And I think he's putting that experience to good use, Sam.
Well, he's a seasoned veteran. He's been doing this a while, and he does have a lot. He has compiled a lot of races here. But Greg Evans has told me, he said of all the tracks, he doesn't feel that Phoenix is probably his best track. He's had his struggles here, he told me, and he's had times where it felt like the track was a friend to him, and then there are other times that he felt like the track wasn't a friend to him. And so he was very careful with his words and with his mindset coming into the event tonight, just simply so that he did not overcompensate his feelings about how well or how bad he may run. But Greg is just always up for the challenge, and he'll be around to the end tonight.
Yeah, you most certainly do want to stay humble. That's a huge thing. Especially if you're as quick as Greg Evans. He does lead it. And there's Greg. Don't want to sell him short on the TV time. Matt Sisler second, Ryan O'Donoghue third. Kendall Paul has now pulled his car into the 4th spot. David Dunwoody is 5th, and interestingly enough, he's got John Hutchins right behind him, but Dunwoody is 2.5 seconds adrift on this long run from Kendall Paul. He's got John Hutchins behind him. How about Troy Carricker? We haven't called his name much tonight, and Troy started this race 13th, so he is up 6 spots. But Troy Carricker has very quietly moved that 94 toward the front of this field.
Yes, sir. I talked with Troy recently, and Troy was just as humble and as kind of a person to talk to. I enjoyed the time that I had with him. He said he was just going to be riding around tonight. He knew that he didn't have the fastest car, but he felt confident enough that he was going to ride around and try and keep the fenders on it. And I bragged on him. I told him, I said, all year long, you've been an excellent example of a driver that can work his way up through the field and methodically try to be there at the end. And so that's Troy Carricker's MO, and he's done a great job here in the Black Magic Studios Grand National Series here in the AMA. Just a big shout out to Troy Carricker.
Yes, he has. James Hodgson, the forward-facing 88, the battling Brit. Excuse me, Sam, to use your language there. He's going to run along in 8th. Say hey, Lewis Hayes, having a quiet night in 9th. He's got Colby Pearson, Crash Neon in 10th and 11th behind him. Vance Fisher is 12th in the pink 73. He's got the back end of that thing has been used up, Sam, but he fights on. Randy Dunlap is 13th. Justin Osterman behind him is 8 laps down. Robert Smith is the last car on the lead lap. And Joshua Siegfried has taken to the pit lane, and he is under significant repair. And so, Sam, we might need to find out what happened to Joshua Siegfried. But that's going to bring us back. That's going to bring us back to Greg Evans, who is working the final lap of this stage.
Well, he was close. He was very close behind Kendall Paul. Trying to go. Oh, and then he loses control of the car in turn 3. And fortunately, he was already getting close to the pit entrance, and it just so happened that he just lost control on entry. The back started to come around. He overcorrected. He caught the outside wall, and then he just turned the car left down into pit lane. And now we have caution on the speedway.
It is going to be the stage caution lap at 91 of 200 in the books, Sam. Coming to get lap 92. We are going to have, this is going to be the end of the stage. Everybody's going to come to pit lane, And then you and I get to talk about our favorite thing, Sam, fuel strategy. Yay, fuel.
Yay! I
Ye-
love fuel strategy races.
You
I
know,
don't love them if they don't work in my favor, but I do like a fuel strategy race.
my favorite is not fuel races; it's tire races. I wish so much that that we would get a league out here where kind of like some of the original ISRA races, where you'd have one more pit stop than you had sets of tires available.
Oh, see, now you got me all intrigued. I'm going to run down into the pit area. I'm going to run down there and talk to a couple of crew chiefs. I'll be right back.
There you go, Sam Crow. He's going to go visit with the with the competitors. No worries, Josh. We know that happens. And we will definitely see you back next season. Donald Green joining us in the chat. Good to see Donald, even though his driver Christian Light is out of the race. Good to see Donald Green in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. You are watching the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series from Phoenix. It is the championship finale in the Blackmagic Studios 200. Right now, it's a battle between Greg Evans and Ryan O'Donoghue. For the championship, Matt Sizzler is going to slide in between them coming off a pit road. John Hutchins, Kendall Paul, 4th and 5th. And David Dunwoody, James Hodgson, Troy Carricker, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, and Randy Dunlap are going to be the remaining cars off of the pit lane. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts just like this one. Sam and I will be back tomorrow night for the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series finale. That will be an 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 race start. I do not believe we have anything on Saturday, and so mercifully the crew here at P1 is going to get the day off. Sunday. It is the finale for the Votive Racing League Season 3. From the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's going to be 8 o'clock Sunday night from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 120 laps at Indy in the IR18. Monday, we're back with the triple header, the past, the present, and the future of IndyCar racing. It is important to note to everybody here at P1 as we get ready to come back to green, Justin Osterman has a black flag. We are going to get the green, and it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here with Greg Evans. He has gotten a fantastic restart each time he's been in the lead. He's got Ryan O'Donoghue behind him, and this is what I was trying to make a point of earlier. I think the advantage here might be Ryan O'Donoghue in third on Matt Sizzler. Mm-hmm. There's the green. Evans gets the drop, and Ryan O'Donoghue pulls even with, and he's going to blow by Matt Sizzler on the restart.
Yeah, the third place car really does have
Sizzler
the advantage.
into the back of O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue into the wall.
Oh. Here, I was thinking, he is taking full responsibility, but I know that doesn't make Ryan O'Donoghue feel any better.
It probably doesn't.
I mean, the gesture is nice, but no, that does not help at all.
Well, and you can see it. The back end of that number 14 machine is very bent. Ryan O'Donoghue. There's going to have to be some red mist behind the wheel of that 14. You can see the back end.
He has right front damage as well. The right front's damaged as well.
Yeah, you can kind of see the right. It's not as bad as the rear end. I'm trying to see if we can get an angle on it just in case. Somebody that might be in comms with him can let him know, like, hey, this is what's damaged. Yep. But the right front is bent a little bit, but most of the damage appears to be to the back, Sam.
The right rear, the right bumper, the rear bumper, rear spoiler looks good. If anything, this particular damage may tighten the car up a little bit for him.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the old...
Especially on exit. It may very well tighten the car up on the exit.
It could be the old, he adjusted it on the wall, Sam. Sometimes that works out to your advantage, doesn't it?
Well, I have seen instances like that, like at Darlington or tracks that tire wear comes into such a play, and it can affect the drivability of the car sometimes. I have seen that. I've actually won races like that.
You
I
know, at
won a
most,
race at IRP that way.
yeah, and so here comes O'Donohue. He is going to dive under.
Sisler's moving. Sisler's moving over for him here. That's just a racer's gesture right there.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
exactly what we just saw.
And he's going to let, I don't know if he may let Kendall Paul through and let the championship contenders find it out. I think given what we're seeing O'Donoghue's car, it may be okay, Sam.
Yep, like I said, it may tighten him up on this early run. But now he's faced with the point whenever he makes his pit stop, if we have green flag pit stops, when he makes his pit stop, it's going to be trying to repair that damage. And so he's going to have to race if there are green flag stops, he's going to have to race the entire remainder of this race with that damage.
Well, and even if you get a yellow flag, do you fix it, right? And take the track position penalty, knowing that you'd have to pass the whole field, Sam.
Well, if you're behind the wheel of the 14 and it's driving better, the answer is no. All four of our title defenders or title contenders are in the top 5 right here. Now, I did go down and talk to a couple of crew chiefs. I did stop and check on Joshua Siegfried as he was leaving the infield care center. He said he'd been overdriving the car a little bit there and lost the back, as we thought. He lost the back end of the car and overcorrected, and then got wheel damage that was irreparable. And he just was beating himself up for a mistake. But the consensus is that when these cars came off pit lane, their tanks showed 75 laps. So depending on how much you're saving or not saving, give or take, it's going to be close to the 75 lap mark. However, some drivers, because of where this caution falls, they may split that in half. They may cut that down a little bit. Maybe hit at lap 55 or lap 50, somewhere in that range.
Well, and the thing to consider there is, Sam, you're going to lose, 2 laps if you put under green here? Would be the situation. However, you're going to pick up a second a lap in lap time for about 10 to 15 laps. And so the short pit may be the way to go. The one guy up here that I would guarantee you is thinking about a short pit, depending on how his car feels, Ryan O'Donoghue.
Ryan O'Donoghue, no question.
Yeah, he's going to be the one thinking about pitting as soon as he can. He just lost the second spot to Kendall Paul. Of course, that could be a speed thing, not necessarily a Ryan O'Donoghue's got a problem thing. Kendall Paul has been fast this entire run. He did have that issue earlier where he got kind of separated from this battle, not through any fault of his own, but he's raced his way back up to the front here, Sam.
Right. And now we have Vance Fisher, who has taken his car behind the wall into the garage area. And so Vance has called it the night. Vance, we thank you for your participation this year in the series.
Yes, sir, we most certainly do. Do want to point out for our viewers at home, excuse me, my goodness sake, Sam. I do want to point out for our viewers at home that next week, the official broadcast, so Monday night, beginning with the IndyCar Open Series broadcast, that's moving up an hour. We do fall back this weekend, Sam, and so instead of 8 o'clock, Monday night's action is going to start at 7. I believe the Onyx Racing League is going to remain at 9:05, and so that's a huge deal for me because now, Sam, I get to race in it. How about that?
All right.
That's
always fun.
You see me wheel one of those Lotuses and embarrass myself out there, Sam. And then I believe Jacob Collins' situation is going to move as well. We'd have to check with him on the Indy Next Series. Gary Gonzo will be to you Tuesday at 7:15 instead of 8:15, and the Indy Next broadcast is going to move from 9:30 to 8:30. So just kind of keep that in mind. Next week, the leagues do not move, but the official broadcast that we carry here on P1, they're going to move up 1 hour, each of them. So just to kind of know.
Speaking of those Lotuses, if anybody did not see the end of this week's race at Montague, you're going to be in for a great show at the end of that event. It was quite exhilarating.
I'm going to tell you what, there was a very happy very happy Mark Cohn at the end of that race, and that was good.
There was equally a very sad Justin Kirby.
There was indeed, but I will say it was great to see the Watchmen win. But they'll be at Iowa 9:05 on Monday, November the 3rd, and I will be in that field, Sam.
Those races in that series have been nothing short of just a pleasure to watch. It's been a great series.
You know,
like here in the AMA, these races have been phenomenal.
You know, they most certainly have. They'll be at Road America Monday, November 10th, and the finale at Auto Club, Old California Speedway, November 17th. And for those of you who don't know what a Lotus 79 is, that is essentially the first ground effects Formula One car. We use them in the IndyCar community because they are basically analogous to about a early 1980s March IndyCar. Probably the equivalent would be what, 1981, 82, one of those cars, Sam.
Right.
They don't have a super speedway package per se, but they drive very much like an early 80s IndyCar. So that's why they are very popular within the IndyCar community, is because they stand in for those early 80s marches. Of course, we also run the present car. We've got the future with the Indy Next Series. You'll see the Dark Horse DW12 series return on Sunday nights in January, and so you can get your fill of all kinds of IndyCar action here on the P1 Broadcasting Channel. If you wish. I think
there is a rumor going around on November 17th at Auto Club that a special guest driver could be showing up there as well.
Sam Crow?
I said it's a special guest. I didn't say a name.
You know, Mike Rigney raises a good point. He says that if you ever played the arcade game Pole Position, back in the 80s, you raced a Lotus, and then he laughs. The only thing I ever remember about the Pole Position arcade game from Atari was that, one, I was terrible at it, and two, I remember passing the Marlboro signs in the arcade game in the arcade.
Oh.
So that was one of the first examples. Kendall Paul has gone past Greg Evans, and he leads it. Greg Evans has gone back to second. Matt Sizzler is third. O'Donohue fourth. David Dunwoody is fifth. He is under fire from John Hutchins.
Oh, Dunwoody hard into the wall.
Yeah, he's driving that car right on the ragged edge. But the Pole Position arcade cabinet, the original Pole Position, Sam, not the second one, although the second one had it too, the original Pole Position in the arcade cabinet is one of the first example, maybe the first example of product placement in a video game. I don't know if you knew that or not, but if you watch
I did not know that.
If you watch the billboards in the original Pole Position game, as you go past them, you'll see billboards for Marlboro cigarettes, Canon, I believe, is in there. I also think there are Honda billboards, if memory serves. But I definitely remember the cigarette ones because when Pole Position 2 came out, they made them remove the cigarette advertising.
Well, that was during the era where alcohol and tobacco advertising had been banned in certain sporting events.
Right. But not in motor racing, and there were Martini and Rossi ads.
I'm talking
in that
about
game too.
Involved with where children, like in gaming and things like that.
Well, there was a TV advertising ban. That was one of the reasons that tobacco and alcohol would sponsor racing cars, because they couldn't advertise on TV, so they would sponsor sporting events that were on TV, right? Winston didn't sponsor. Winston didn't, couldn't air television ads. Neither could Marlboro. So that's why they had race cars. It wasn't their fault that the TV just happened to pick up the Marlboro logo, right? But that was pretty controversial at the time. And I remember that the cigarette and alcohol advertisements were removed from the second version of that game. But I was not very good at it, Sam. I'm sure Rigney has the high score somewhere in an arcade in West Virginia, though.
Oh, yeah, he's a gamer.
One of the things that I would love to do, and I'm sure that we could probably put this together at some point. You remember, Kendall Paul continues to lead it, by the way, from Greg Evans. You remember the old Indianapolis 500, the simulation game, Sam? IndyCar racing?
No, I never did race that, no.
So it's like old school. That is the foundation of all sim racing that we know today. It came out in 1989, featuring the 1988 Indianapolis 500. It was designed by some company named Papyrus and a guy named Dave Kramer. You know those names, Sam?
Oh, of course I know those names.
Right. So that was the one that started it all. I would love at some point this off season, and maybe we'll get to it, is to do races in a modern rig. So, the steering wheel and triple monitors and all that stuff in some of those old games, NASCAR Racing 2, the original NASCAR Racing, IndyCar Racing 2, IndyCar Racing with Papyrus, Indy 500, the simulation. I think that would be hilarious. I would love to do that. Not old school, but like in a modern rig. Right.
An updated version.
No, play the original game, but use our modern.
Oh, use the modern equipment with the old software.
Yeah, I wonder if it would pick up. I wonder if it would even pick up the steering wheel as a controller. We'd have to.
Oh.
We'd have to figure.
No, you'll have to go back and use a joystick.
Are you kidding, Sam? I used when I played Indianapolis 500, the simulation as a kid.
Keyboard.
Yeah, you had to use the arrow keys on the keyboard.
Yeah, the keyboard.
Yeah, you had to use the arrow keys on the keyboard, or the mouse if you were really good. Greg Evans has crawled back into the rearview mirror of Kendall Paul, and now Greg Evans is starting to peek to that inside. We'll hop in the passenger seat of the Deuce. We're gonna have a battle for the lead before too much longer, Sam.
And we're gonna have to send down body men down to the 28 cars pit stop, because he is pounding that wall down on turn 3. And these cars behind him, he is fighting for that spot, that 5th spot. He is fighting for that with everything that he has left in that car. James Hodgson, Hutchins is back there, Crash Neon, Lewis Hayes. All these drivers have been trying to contend him for that 5th spot, but he is doing everything in his power to hold on to it.
Yeah, and he knows, right? He knows he has to stay up there to have any chance at winning a championship. Ryan O'Donoghue is in front of him. O'Donoghue has started to fall more or less.
Yeah, that damage is starting to show on the 14 now.
It is, and he's trying to hang in there as long as he can. You don't want to pit yet, although the window is open. You don't want to pit yet, Sam. But at some point, he's going to want to throw the dice and try to get that car in the pit lane, because he's losing a couple of tenths a lap here. Yeah,
we had said it after the contact he had with the outside wall. We said if any driver wants to make a run at this championship and has to short pit, it's going to be Ryan O'Donoghue, and even David Dunwoody for that matter, because if they fall back too many seconds, then the pit stop is really not going to do much of an advantage in the long run, because they're making up seconds they've already lost on the racetrack, and they're not going to be able to gain much on the leaders. So it's really going to be precise for these drivers to decide when they're going to come into the pits and get 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles.
Well, and the other thing you have to think about, if you're O'Donoghue, you're losing time anyway, such that he's going to need a caution anyway. You might as well gamble here, but that
Yes.
gamble is going to have to be taken soon because he's now 3 seconds behind Matt Sizzler, Greg Evans, and Kendall Paul. Evans and Kendall Paul continue to have it out for the lead of this race. And it's not that I want to keep the camera on the leader, Sam. That's just where the battle has been all day long, all night long for that matter.
Oh, these drivers up front have been just having it out up at the lead spot, and then there's some great racing. I mean, the field is not so spread out, but there's from Dunwoody in 5th on back to 10th. These drivers have been nose to tail for this entire run. They're just having a really difficult time trying to contend for that 5th spot. James Hodgson has worked his way back up here on the inside of the 28, and they, as hard as they try, Dunwoody continues to hold on to that spot.
Yes, he does. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Blackmagic Studios 200. It is the championship finale of the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. We are at my favorite number of laps to go. It is 69. That is the number on my IndyCar, Sam. And so we do want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel. Kendall Paul is to the outside, and the Deuce has dropped to the bottom. They're going to do battle for the lead here, Sam.
Greg Evans could have very well been just backing off and saving a little bit of tire and letting Kendall just go ahead and jump out there like a jackrabbit and use up a little bit more of his tire. And so he's found the opportunity to catch back up to the front and take the lead.
There you go. The Deuce, Greg Evans, will pull into the lead. Kendall Paul is second. Matt Sizzler has closed back up into the 3rd spot. Ryan O'Donoghue has fallen 3.8 seconds back of this battle now with 67 laps to go. You said the outer edge of the fuel, Sam, is what, 75?
75 laps. You're in the window to finish this race. So if you're Ryan O'Donoghue or you're David Dunwoody, do you tell yourself, I'm going to come in now, I'm going to turn as fast a laps as I can turn on fresh tires and hope that I catch a caution? That's if you still have one extra set of tires left in if you were able to conserve and save a set of tires.
Now they should have the extra set of tires, but O'Donoghue, you just got to think he's losing, now 0.4 a second a lap. You're going to have to hit pit road here sooner rather than later and take that gamble.
Yeah, you have to put a tourniquet on it.
Most certainly do. We do have a report from the 14 loose because of the damage. So it's not tightened him up, Sam. It's loosened him up. Yeah.
Wow. So that right rear damage has caused a loose condition. I wonder if the trailing arm has been bent or something like that, and that may be what caused him that condition for Ryan O'Donoghue.
The good news is for O'Donoghue, the track is continuing to cool. We are into nighttime, Sam, and so it's only going to get a little bit cooler, and the more rubber that gets on it, hopefully that would mitigate a loose condition. But my goodness, Sam, that's got to be a handful. Meanwhile, Kendall Paul is watching Greg Evans just saunter away now.
Oh, to be in second place under these conditions, if you're behind the Deuce here, or even if the Deuce was behind the 78, and as the laps continue to wind down, in your head you're thinking, I can't let him go, and then your heart's saying, why can't I catch him? Why can't I catch him? It just begins to take a toll on you psychologically sometimes.
I mean, it's to the point, Sam, where I think, for example, it's to the point. I think you're going to have to gamble to beat Greg Evans here. I don't think you're going to beat him straight up. I think you're going to have to roll the dice. Ryan O'Donoghue is at the point where he needs to think about bringing the.
Justin Osterman hard in the wall.
And there's Osterman, but Greg, O'Donoghue needs to think about think about rolling them. So does David Dunwoody. Those guys are losing time rapidly to the leaders.
Well, I understand why you want to wait as long as you feel like you can wait, because if you pit, let's say these drivers would have come in with 65 laps to go, or 50 or 60 laps to go. If they'd have come in that window and pushed the car as hard as they could, then it's going to fall off quicker, and then those leaders, once they pit, they're going to catch them quicker. So you want to time it where you have the most advantageous number of laps for yourself without giving those other drivers an advantage of catching you within that lap differential. If the leaders stay out, say Ryan O'Donoghue comes in with 50 laps to go, and then he pushes the car really hard, he may be able to open up a sizable enough lead that if the leaders pit with 25 to go, they may not be able to catch him. It may be too big of a differential. You don't want to give those leaders those laps to catch you.
Yes, indeed. And I guess my thought is, if you're O'Donoghue, you hit pit road now, you get some tires. You're hoping that it stays green through the cycle, and then you get a caution with about 15 laps to go, and everybody is forced to make that tire choice where you're going to automatically come and get more anyway. Does that make sense, Sam?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. No, I agree. There's just so many ways that this book can be written. It just depends on the author. Kendall Paul brushing the wall there. Off of 3.
And there's Kendall. He continues to run along in the second spot. Greg Evans, the Deuce, is your leader. 58 laps ago, he's built a 0.8 of a second lead over Kendall Paul. Matt Sizzler in the 3 Birdies car is third, and there's Matt Sizzler.
David Dunwoody has not relinquished that spot yet, and those 3 behind him have been fighting tooth and nail to try and get by that 28.
There you go. We're going to put the camera on David Dunwoody because he has a hornet's nest behind him. Now, if it's any consolation for Dunwoody, those are affiliated cars, right? Hudson, Hutchins, and Pierce. Those are affiliated cars, right? So they're going to be communicating with him in the Discord. But he's still driving hard just so he doesn't get run over. There he goes again, all the way up to the wall.
I've seen James Hodgson get underneath him about 4 or 5 times, and every time Dunwoody goes to the high side and gets this big run off the top, just like that.
Yes, he does. Hodgson down to the bottom one more time. This is the battle for 5th, by the way. These are significant positions, but I think Dunwoody's just absolutely wore the tires off of that thing, Sam.
Oh, no question. And that, fuel-wise, there's still 25, 20, or almost 28 laps left on this tank.
Yeah,
I really wonder how much he's going to be able to hold these guys off.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
If tires that are that worn.
Matt Sizzler is on the pit lane, and I think Sizzler
There's our first taker.
Yeah, I think he's realized he's going to have to do something different. If I'm David Dunwoody, I'd hit pit road now.
And again, we're right around that 55 lap to go mark that I had mentioned after pit stops. I thought there would be drivers to cut this run exactly in half. I thought that there would be.
Yeah,
and Matt Sizzler has nothing to lose here. He just wants to win. He's looking for trophies.
Well, and that's what I mean from David Dunwoody. He's already the last of the championship runners. Why not hit pit road and give yourself a shot? Because Greg Evans is essentially going to run this thing as long as possible. Kendall Paul is on.
No question.
Yeah, Kendall Paul is on pit road because that's the position he's in. Kendall Paul is on pit road, and so now Evans.
I think if Evans sees all the championship contenders pitting,
he'll pit after them.
Once all of them have pitted, he'll pit shortly after. He's not going to put himself in a position where he's trying to play catch up.
Maybe not.
That's why our discussion about Dunwoody and O'Donoghue.
Yeah, here comes Dunwoody.
Yeah, he's already made the call.
So Dunwoody is gonna throw his car down the pit lane. That's gonna leave Ryan O'Donoghue and Greg Evans.
Can he get it slowed down?
Did he make it, Sam? He made it. No black flag. for Dunwoody, that makes sense. Now O'Donoghue is still losing gobs of time. You see Kendall Paul go past him. The bad news for Kendall Paul and David Dunwoody is Kendall Paul's going to come past, and Dunwoody is, essentially if the caution flies now, Dunwoody is essentially out of the race, right? Because he doesn't get the lucky dog. Matt Sisler is going to come past Ryan O'Donoghue. He is now 10.6 seconds behind leader Greg Evans in the deuce.
Let me throw
He's on a Friday.
throw something else out at you. Dunwoody did not take tires.
I'm confused, Sam.
David Dunwoody did not take tires on that stop.
So he must be gambling on a late caution.
We said if someone's going to beat the deuce tonight, if someone's going to beat Greg Evans, they're going to have to make a risky call.
Well, that risky call is, look, he's gonna go back out here. He's gonna, he knows he doesn't have the speed to compete straight up, right? So he's gonna have to gamble. He's gonna have to do something different. The call here for the fans out in the stands is this: David Dunwoody, and here's Dunwoody. He's classified right now as 9th. Evans, O'Donoghue, Crash Neon, Troy Carricker, James Hodgson have not pitted. Dunwoody is a lap down. He's on old tires. He's got a full tank of gas. If this thing gets a yellow, these drivers had 3 sets of tires in the pits, right, Sam?
Right.
If we get a yellow with, let's say, 15 laps to go, David Dunwoody is going to come down pit road, take a set of tires, and he will be the only car with a set of sticker tires on. And he would line up effectively... he would line up in row 6. And so that's his gamble, right? He knows he doesn't have the speed to win outright. But Sam, he may be holding an inside straight draw when we talk about the poker game of motor race. That is a move.
Oh, we've talked about it all year. It's just how we would like to see drivers make more of those race-type decisions. Sean Merriman has been one that has done that this year, as well as Dylan Godinez, and both those drivers are not here tonight, but they've been drivers that have been willing to make some of those risks and gambles. And so it was just, I was curious who would really try to do that tonight, and it turns out to be David Dunwoody.
It's going to be David Dunwoody. Do want to thank Shelby Carricker. You've been awesome all year, Shelby, and thank you so much. Your man runs along in 4th spot. There he is. Has not yet pulled his number 94 onto the pit lane for final service. Again, Evans, O'Donoghue, Crash Neon, and Troy Carricker are the 4 that remain out on the speedway, Sam. And so there they are.
Well, the other way, we were talking about short pitting and then getting hot laps in, and then we find David Dunwoody goes in, but he doesn't take tires. And then the other strategy could be like Crash Neon or Troy Carricker here, or even Ryan O'Donoghue, because he's damaged. His thinking may be, if I stay out long enough under green flag conditions, I might catch a caution under green flag stops.
Trap everybody a lap down.
Exactly. And I'll be on a lead lap with the leader, and I can get some damage fixed. So that could be his gamble. It could very well be their gamble.
It could be, but there's Troy Carricker, and it's a good one, right?
No, I'm for it.
It is indeed.
And apparently, Justin Osterman's got a lot of the damage, even though he's 16 laps down, 15 laps down. He's apparently got a lot of the damage fixed on that number 53 Ford Mustang, and so he's shown a lot of speed in the latter part of this race.
Yeah, and I wonder, this is going to be a night of what could have been for Mr. Excitement. He's turning laps about the same time as the leaders. Do want to point out Crash Neon has now passed Ryan O'Donoghue, and so O'Donoghue will drop back to 3rd. That damage and the resulting loose condition has definitely got to be hurting the number 14. Yes. But at this point, he's going to ride that thing until it runs out of gas, right? I mean, there's no there's no other choice now. And to be fair, the tires by the time. Wow, and thank you so much, Shelby. The tires for these guys that stopped early, they're in a situation where, Sam, they're going to equalize.
Yeah, eventually they will. They all the tire will settle down for these drivers, depending on how well they can stay. But for the most part, it does kind of even out for and equalize for the entire field.
Yeah, it does, and that's kind of what I'm getting at is, you take the advantage on the front end or the back end now, right? Because the tires are almost, I mean, they're not equalized, but they're getting close. Greg Evans, 69 laps into the run. Is that a wink and a nod at the announcer, Sam? 69 laps into the run, Greg Evans has pulled the deuce on the pit lane. And we're going to cover this stop because it's going to be the money stop. He's going to wind up going 70 laps, Sam, as he pulls the deuce into his pit stall.
Well, it's an impressive run that he's been able to get up to the front and do what he does best. And Greg Evans is trying to secure himself into his first AMA Black Magic Studios Grand National Series Championship this year. And so it's really it's always an honor to see Greg race. He really is a good racer.
He most certainly is. Notably, he gets out back out on the racetrack without losing a lap. Troy Carricker has pulled his machine down the pit lane, but Evans got in, got out, did not lose a lap. Crash Neon has assumed the lead here. Crash has been out 71 laps, as has Ryan O'Donoghue, and so they are. At this point, you're running it dry, right, Sam?
I'm sorry, but I'm listening to in-race comms, and Matt Sisler comes onto the mic, and he tells Kendall, who was in front of him after their green flag stops, and he tells Kendall Paul, he says, "Kendall, you better run. Evans is coming, and he's fast." He's faster than I expected him to be. And so there's a...
Whoa, Troy Carricker!
Troy Carricker sideways on the bottom of the racetrack.
Is he going to save it?
All right, man.
Caution!
No, caution is out! Donahue is a genius.
Ryan O'Donoghue...
Does he have enough fuel to make it to the pit lane?
I don't know. It was just a slow, lurid slide for Ryan O'Donoghue. Meanwhile, David Dunwoody has the set of tires in the pit lane, and he's not going to be able to use them, Sam, because he's a lap down and he's trapped that way. John Hutchins is going to be the lucky dog. So the big brain move for David Dunwoody doesn't pay here. Now, if you're Ryan O'Donoghue, there are going to be 7 cars on the lead lap here.
Do you know the irony of this thing that you're seeing in the lineup here, Mark? Do you notice the lineup, how it's played out here? David Dunwoody was ahead of all 3 of these drivers before green flag stops. And he was holding that 5th spot and he was racing these guys as hard as he could race. And now here it is after green flag stops, and he didn't take tires, and here he is behind those 3 drivers.
Yeah, well, he was at points almost a second a lap slower.
Yeah.
He almost needed an immediate caution when he went a lap down. But here's O'Donoghue. Now, if you're O'Donoghue with 7 cars on the lead lap, Sam, and the lap cars go to the back, how much of this damage do you fix? Do you try to fix all of it? I mean, he's going to have a chance to get
there's 30 laps left in the event. You're going to have at least 2 lap fresher tires than any other driver.
So we're gonna talk about that here in just a second. You're right, Mike. This is going to be nuts. O'Donoghue is fixing as much of that as he can. we'll keep an eye out
He's
on.
got to beat the pace car out here. He has to beat the pace car out here. He cannot stay in that pit stall.
Yeah, there's the pace car. It's rounding turn number 4. O'Donoghue needs to get his rear end out of the pit lane.
Oh, and it was just getting to where they were pushing the rear bumper out as he had to leave. Boy, he waited to the last moment to get that car out.
Well, he's still going to have a chance, maybe to come back and get. No, he's not. The lights are out on the pace car, so
Yeah, no, he's got to come around and catch the field.
yeah, he's got what he's got. But he did get, by my reckoning, about 40 seconds worth of damage fixed. So it's not.
It could be significant. I noticed in the pit stall that they were really starting to push some of the rear bumper out, and some of the right front damage is all repaired. All of that damage is repaired.
Yeah, and so of the things that affect that car, the rear bumper, the television cover there, is going to be the least of what affects it. The issue for Ryan O'Donoghue is going to be, it's partially fixed. So it's not going to drive like it did at the beginning of the race, and it's not going to drive like it did, Sam. It's not going to drive like it did.
Green flag.
A few minutes, just a few minutes ago, but he's going to give it a go. Kendall Paul has the lead and jumps out over Greg Evans. Now this is going to be the fun part, because Evans and Kendall Paul are going to have a go. Greg Evans, 15 lap fresher tires, and he immediately goes for the bottom, Sam.
Oh, yeah, it's not going to take long with those fresh tires, and Evans he knows that O'Donoghue's back here, and he doesn't know exactly how much damage he does or does not have on that race car. So he's going to get out into the lead as fast as he can, and O'Donoghue is now just fighting with all he's got to try and get around these other cars in contention for the top 5, so that he can at least try to catch the deuce.
He does. Now Ryan O'Donoghue has made it into the 4th spot. Crash Neon bounces off the wall in front of him, but Ryan O'Donoghue is most assuredly coming. We're going to jump on top of the roll bar. He's going to go inside Crash Neon. Makes it past there.
Oh, he'll have Kendall Paul going in one here.
Yeah, he's going to have Kendall Paul, and so Ryan O'Donoghue looks out the windshield, and he sees the deuce in front of him. Ryan O'Donoghue with 5-lap fresher tires. Unlike Evans, they have not been heat cycled. This is going to get fun. I wonder how that car is handling. Of course, he doesn't really have to worry about cooking the tires here. This is going to be a very short run, Sam.
Oh, he's cooking it, because he's hit every wall on exit on this lap alone. He has got nothing but blinders on at this particular point. He sees the number 2 in front of him, and he wants to catch him.
He most certainly does. He was at just a touch of the stopwatch faster that last time. 27.751 to a 27.714 for Ryan O'Donoghue. He must be listening to you he must be listening to you, Sam. He knocked off another half of a tenth. He failed to hit the fence the last 3 or 4 times around, but he drives it way into turn number 1 that time. Another big chunk comes out of the Deuce's lead.
You can't say anything about the heart of Ryan O'Donoghue tonight. After all the adversity he's faced in this last segment of the race, he's really trying to make sure that he puts his best foot forward for this championship. And you know that Greg Evans, who's been in this spot many times, he's keeping a close eye on that relative screen and the rear view mirror to make sure that he keeps that 14 behind him.
He most certainly is. Crash Neon has fallen 1.3 seconds adrift of this battle. Kendall Paul nearly 3 seconds back. It's down to Greg Evans in the deuce, Ryan O'Donoghue in the 14. And why wouldn't it be, Sam? These guys have been more or less the class of the AMA field. Another half a tenth came out that time. These guys have been more or less the class of the AMA field for the entire season. O'Donoghue, fastest in practice nearly every week, won the most poles. Greg Evans won the most races. Why not, right? Why not have it come down to these two?
Well, we always say here in the South that the cream always rises to the top, and this is exactly what we see with these two drivers. It's not to say that the quality of the field has not been there with drivers like Kendall Paul and others. There's been some quality drivers in this series, But these two drivers, like you said, have always seemed to rise above the rest.
They most certainly have. We'll get back in the cockpit with Ryan O'Donoghue, and that's what he sees: 0.6 of a second to pay dirt and a championship. But he's got one of the best in the business in front of him, and these two are going after it. And if you don't think Ryan O'Donoghue is driving hard, Sam, just look at the hands.
Oh, no question. And he's brushing the walls off of exits almost every lap. He's really trying to get as much off of that race car as he can and off the racetrack as well. I have noticed that through turns 1 and 2, he's really gone up to that high side, which he ran in the first stint. And it really was working for him to some degree, and he's been doing that. But he's just trying to see what line is going to be fastest for him in these closing laps as we're coming to 20 to go this time by.
It'd be actually 21 to go this time by, Sam. O'Donoghue now has consistently been a 0.5 per lap faster than Greg Evans. That time they were about even. That time they were about even. Greg Evans may have picked up just a handful of thousandths. But there's no doubt Ryan O'Donoghue has been the faster car for the last 10 laps or so. This time they're going to get 20 to go, Sam.
Oh, you can take it to the bank. Greg Evans has been more aware of this 14 car than he has most any other car in leagues that I've seen him run in the past. He has nothing but had the highest praises for Ryan O'Donoghue. He really has said so many good things about him. He is aware of the talent that's in this 14 car, and Greg has been watching him all season, knowing that he's getting better and better and better. And he even mentioned to me, he said that he has to keep a close eye on this 14 because he knows at some point, sometime, that class is going to end and recess is going to start, and Ryan O'Donoghue is going to be up front.
I don't know that I don't know that recess hasn't already started, Sam. But I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what's not going to start very much longer is the right side of that number 14. He pounded the wall again, coming off at turn number 2. And look, Ryan O'Donoghue is either going to win this. I think he's decided he's either going to put it in victory lane or bring it home in a bucket.
He's taking on the David Dunwoody strategy at this point. It's either just finish the race up front or just finish the race with nothing left.
Bring it. Bring me a trophy. Bring me a steering wheel. I don't care which one. Right? Ryan O'Donoghue continues to try to run down Greg Evans. The gap has stabilized now. They've run the last 3 laps about the same speed. Ryan O'Donoghue a touch quicker that last time through, but it stabilized right around 0.5 second, Sam.
Yeah, about 10 laps. About 10 laps on these tires is about all you're really going to get hot laps out of them before they really start equalizing out and they'll start evening. Crash Neon has actually been closing in just a little bit on Ryan O'Donoghue here. And so after 10 laps, you're going to get about all the fastest of your laps out of those tires, and it's going to kind of level off for you. Now it's just a matter of running smooth, consistent lines and trying to find the one that works best for the tire wear. He's as close as he's been this whole run right now, though.
Yes, he most certainly is. He's got it under 0.5 second. Ryan O'Donoghue up to the back of the deuce. Nearly there. Another 0.5, Sam, that last time through. And I wonder, is Greg Evans, and you know him much, much better than I do, but as Greg Evans looks up in the rearview mirror and sees Ryan O'Donoghue coming, is there anything being saved here, or is it all go now?
Greg, in many cases, Greg is always thinking ahead. He's always a forward thinker when it comes to his racing. He's always trying to think of scenarios and what plays out. He's very cerebral. Not only is he talented in the sim, but he's so cerebral in how he plans and strategizes for his races. And so these instances are no different for Greg Evans. He could very well be saving, or he could just be kind of maintaining a certain lap speed so that he knows that he'll he'll have something left in the last 10 laps. So it could be a myriad of different things, and we'll just have to see how it plays out at the end of the race if these drivers are still around, that we can ask Greg what was going on in his head. But you're exactly right as far as what Greg is. He's always a planner. He always is thinking ahead. He's always trying to make sure that he sticks with the things that work for him.
Most certainly so, and it appears as though he may have saved just a little bit, Sam, because it got down to a half a second, and we thought, man, we should start playing the Jaws music. And then it's almost like Greg heard us and said, "All right,
I'm hit by Ryan O'Donoghue."
Yeah,
can he save it?
He does.
Oh, what a save!
He does, but it's almost like Greg heard us, Sam, and he said, "All right, I've had enough. I've had enough of them. I've had enough of them talking about how O'Donoghue's coming." Because he's put almost half a second on Ryan O'Donoghue in 3 laps.
Well, a lot of that was just off that last lap. The contact that O'Donoghue had coming off of turn 4 there was just a tremendous, or turn 2. It was tremendous catching that wall.
Yes, it was, and no doubt, Sam, the body man is going to have to rehang the right side of that number 14. It is a little bit flatter than when it started. But O'Donoghue, he's given it his all. I don't know, outside of a caution flag that gives him another shot at Greg Evans, if this is in the cards tonight. Of course, Ryan O'Donoghue and Kendall Paul are both part of the championship 4 in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series finale tomorrow. And remember,
That's
Sam,
very true.
The Truck Series in the AMA is the premier series. They go in reverse order here. So they run the Cup cars as the beginner cars, Xfinity is the middle, and the trucks are the top level. That's the top level series, and so O'Donoghue and Kendall Paul,
the bragging rights series. But I think tonight these drivers feel like that this is bragging rights.
Oh, I guarantee you they do. But just point out, that O'Donoghue and Kendall Paul are going to have a chance at this again tomorrow night. Another bite at the apple. But a man that doesn't need another bite at any apples is Greg Evans. Now a 1.1 second advantage over Ryan O'Donoghue. Crash Neon has driven a tremendous race. He has gotten to the back of O'Donoghue, but it doesn't appear as though he has any appetite at making a pass. Kendall Paul has faded to 4th, and Matt Sizzler is a further 5 seconds behind Kendall Paul in the 5th spot. Give a shout out to Colby Pierce. You can see him, James Hodgson, and John Hutchins. They are in the background. Sahi Lewis Hayes, he's still on the lead lap in the number 83. David Dunwoody has got back on the lead lap. He is our 4th championship contender. He is in 10th.
Going a lap down, though.
Yeah, Greg Evans is coming to him, but Dunwoody remains on the lead lap for now. Troy Carricker in the 94 is in 11th. Justin Osterman is still running in 12th. There they are, Sam. Ryan O'Donoghue just doesn't have enough to get back to the deuce. Unless something wild was to happen with David Dunwoody here, I doubt that it will. But something wild could happen here.
We may see. I mean, I don't know. I'm not, mind reading was the class that I skipped in school. But I don't know if Crash Neon is just extending a courtesy to Ryan O'Donoghue here and just kind of riding back here, or if he'll actually contend with him for that 2nd spot. But Crash Neon's done a great job. It wasn't too long before the green flag pit stops that Crash was back there battling from 5th to 10th. He was in that 2nd pack, but he's maintained pace with Ryan O'Donoghue in this particular run, and he's solidly here in 3rd spot. But it seems like he'll get close and then he backs off, and so I just wonder, sometimes when there's a championship that's being run, some drivers are very conscious of these drivers, and they want to make sure that they're not a player involved, and we could very well see this again, like we saw Matt Sisler give a position back earlier. We could see where Crash Neon is not getting up here and racing with Ryan O'Donoghue, because really there's nothing to gain for 2nd place.
Most certainly so. Great sportsmanship by David Dunwoody. He moves out of the way of Greg Evans. Does not want to impact here. But this is all about the deuce. We'll zoom in. We'll show the man. He is about 2.5 miles now from the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series Championship. He's going to pull down through turns 3 and 4. Greg Evans will approach the start-finish line. He's got 2 laps to go, Sam.
And now all the noises become very real inside the cockpit of the car. You're listening to make sure that there's no pops, creaks, or screeches that don't sound normal. You're watching everything around you, checking the track, seeing where the relative is. You're everything hypersensitive at this point as you're driving this last lap and a half to a championship.
There's Barney with the white flag in hand. 1 more lap to go. Greg Evans in the deuce. Less than a mile now. It has been a dominating season for Greg Evans. He has won the most races by far of anybody in the series.
You all over the racetrack.
Yeah, he's given it his best shot, but the 14 is going to come up short. Greg Evans will go through turns 3 and 4. He's going to come underneath Barney, and the checkered flag is going to wave over Greg Evans. He will win the 2025 Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series Championship. Ryan O'Donohue will be the runner-up. Crash Neon third. Kendale Paul comes through to finish fourth. Matt Sizzler, we're waiting. There's Sizzler. He's going to run out of the top 5. And Matt Sizzler had to be the driver of the second half. He will be a championship threat next season. John Hutchins, Colby Pierce, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, and David Dunwoody round out the top 10. Troy Carricker is 11th. Justin Osterman will finish 12th.
No, I agree. Matt Sisler was very disappointed that he came in so late in the season that he could not be a contender for this championship. There was a string of races there, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, though, Mark, but there was a string of races where Matt Sisler was consistently top 3 in both divisions.
Yeah, he ran on the podium he ran on the podium both nights for a couple of months in a row.
Yeah, he sure did. He did a great job, and that's why I was talking about his competitive nature that's been showing up here late in the season. And so maybe the break will give him a reset and just set his head and his heart and his mind and his race shop in place for the season next year here in the AMA.
Most certainly so. Greg Evans is your winner. You see him doing the donuts in the background. Ryan O'Donohue is second. Crash Neon will round out your podium. Be good to talk to Crash. Haven't done that in a while. Kendale Paul will run fourth. Has to be disappointed with that he'll get another shot at it tomorrow night, as will Ryan O'Donohue. Matt Sizzler rounds out your top 5. James Hodgson, John Hutchins, Colby Pierce, Say Hey Lewis Hayes are the remaining cars on the lead lap. David Dunwoody comes home 1 lap down in 10th. In 11th, Troy Carricker also 1 lap down. Justin Osterman soldiered home 17 laps in arrears.
Big shout out for him sticking it out tonight.
Yes.
Really, he got called in the first caution at the very beginning of the race. And he decided to get his damage fixed and just go to school. He knows he's coming to race here tomorrow night in the Truck Series, and so why not go ahead and get some lap time in?
Yes, sir. Robert Smith, Vance Fisher, Randy Dunlap, Joshua Siegfried, Keith Graham, Christian Light, all classified as out of the race. Brian Sharp did not start this evening, and so he was the official. Just as kind of a quirk in iRacing, if you are a admin, in order to give the admin commands, you actually have to sign in as a competitor. And so that's why you see Brian Sharp there. He was the administrator this evening. But 18 cars. And Greg Evans has still not left the racing surface. You want to give him a call down there, Sam, and tell him to go park that thing in Victory Lane?
Why would he park it? Let's get him to run. Just go ahead and I think they're asking. Well, I think they were asking a couple of drivers for some photo ops on the track, so that may be why he's still on the racetrack. In the post race, I think some of the officials were talking about some post race photo ops. So we'll see. And he's turning it around. Taking the Alan Kulwicki route down pit lane here.
I always do like winning at Phoenix, Michigan. California is another one where it's a track you can go to Victory Lane.
I forgot you can pull into Victory Lane here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what Greg Evans is doing. He's pulling into Victory Lane.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I
that's
was.
great.
That's what I was trying to get at. He needs to go. He needs to go. He needs to go park the car in victory lane, right? Because you can do that here. Speaking of doing
Yeah.
that, while Greg gets his car into victory lane, let's pull up Crash Neon. Crash Neon is the third place finisher this evening. Crash, you've got Murph, you've got Sam Crow in the P1 broadcasting booth. Welcome, first of all. I don't think I've talked to you up here in quite a while, so congratulations on your podium run. It's good to see you in a stock car, Crash. Normally we see you without a roof, and so good to see you in one of these. And congratulations on a podium third. O'Donoghue and Evans went at it pretty hard. What were your observations of the front two, and do you think you had anything for them? Were you kind of just letting them battle it out? Kind of walk us through the last stint, Crash.
Honestly, I was just going for it, man. I was just giving that car all she could. I'm pretty sure that car was begging for mercy towards the end of the race. I was hoping I could play playoff spoilers, man. I'm exhausted after that, man. That's just how much I was working that wheel.
Well, that kind of answers the question for me, Crash, because I thought that you were kind of extending a championship race courtesy to those two front drivers and just kind of letting them have at it. I thought you had a little bit more pace than Ryan O'Donoghue, especially with the damage that he had on his car. So, but you're saying that everything you had, you were trying to get around that 14.
Yep, that's for sure. I was hauling like no tomorrow, man. I thought I could get up there, but no, I couldn't.
Well, I noticed tonight, Crash, there was not a moment of your race that you saw any kind of interval. It seemed like the entire race you were in a bee's nest constantly tonight, whether it was back in 7th, 8th, or 9th, or whether it was here at the end in the top 3. Congratulations on your podium finish. Just give us a little insight about how you felt like your race went as a whole.
Yeah, honestly, the car felt amazing. It felt beautiful in the corners. I could just roll out beautifully, and I was just like, first 10 laps, I'm like, you know what? I got a good long run car here. I can take advantage of that. So I went for it. Like I think that's probably one of my best ever racing feeling stock car ever. Honestly, I was just like, again, I felt like I'd go up to battle with Greg and Ryan, but couldn't get up there. So
Well, your podium finish proves that you could get up there. So congratulations on a great run tonight.
thank you.
Hey, thank you for your time, Crash. Thank you so much for joining us. As is the custom here at P1, you get on the podium, you get the mic, friends, family, sponsors. The floor is yours.
I'm gonna give 2 shout outs tonight. My first shout out is going to go to Michael Marutz. Send him some love. He deserves it after what happened to his YouTube channel, and tell him I sent you. And my second shout out will go to Ghost Energy. Check out any new flavor that's out there. I'm so exhausted I can't name any,
Sounds like you could use some Ghost Energy.
There you go.
Yes, sir, I could.
All right, well, we'll let you get out of here and go get you some Ghost Energy. Thank you so much, Crash, for your time. Thank you for stopping in. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
That is Crash Neon. For our second place finisher, we turn to Ryan O'Donoghue. It was the first of 2 shots, Ryan, for you. Came up about a second short tonight. Kind of walk us through your evening and what you think it might have taken to get to the deuce at the end.
I had 47 seconds of damage, so we had a minute and a half there. If it wasn't Phoenix and we had some more time to do it, we probably would have got that right rear fixed. I had just nothing to lean on that whole run, and it ended up working out. I think Matt was in there with me, Wags, so we were talking about it, what we could do, how that could play out, either a caution with 75 laps to go and have enough fuel and just pit then and hope it stays green, or how it worked out. And I think Greg was kind of a prize to it too, keeping me there and staying out a little longer than he wanted to. We had 9 laps of fuel left, so if he had run, if we had ran 5 more laps maybe before that caution came out, probably would have been in good shape. But yeah, I ran that last run there with 47 seconds of damage. So the new tires weren't enough to get it there. It was a handful.
Well, Ryan, I was bragging on just your mindset going into this event, and I really give you a lot of credit for where your head was. Of course, sometimes things don't play into our mindset, and they kind of work against us. But considering all the things that happened from the second stint on, and then you're trying to drive the damaged race car, a second place finish is nothing short of heroic here, considering the damage that you had. I'm more curious. I'm really curious right now. Is just what are your you finished here second in the championship, and what do you take away from this? You talked about your renewed excitement about the hobby and sim racing and this renewed interest that this season at AMA has brought to you. What do you learn from this, and then how do you take your rest time and prepare for next season?
Yeah, we learned a lot. And like I told you earlier, it definitely did that for me. This league racing stuff I had done before, and then went back to the officials, and I really just burnt myself out on that. Took a long break, canceled the subscription. I never even put the wheel back on. And then
Wow.
this year I was thinking, I wanted to get back into it. Got a fresh new setup here. Built everything from the ground up how I wanted it this time, instead of just piecing things together, and really committed to it. And it was just perfect timing. I went looking for a league and found these guys, and I'm so glad I did. What I learned this year, through Greg and guys like Logan and everybody else, I mean, there were so many highs and lows this year with the shoulder, and we missed one race, and that was the first race of this series at Daytona. So just nothing to hang our head on, hang our head down for. We fought hard all season. I think second place is fitting here to Greg. Wish it would have played out a little bit different, but at the same time, I think Greg wouldn't have deserved that. Either that if it were the other way around. Like if we got lucky there and managed to win this thing, I don't know how happy I would have been about it. I would have rather raced him hard there. I think that last stage, it was just the pace was going to be a second slower right off the rip of the green flag. So and then we got a little event there. But all in all, yeah, moving forward, it's just going to be reset everything in here. One more tomorrow, and then reset everything in here and clean it all up and see if we can make some upgrades and just go back to practicing. We'll probably jump in that IndyCar here in the winter.
Yeah, I hear there's a series Monday night that you need to race with me.
Yeah, I'm all in for that. I'll probably get a new an open wheel type wheel to mount on this thing for that, because I didn't have that while I was racing earlier this season, and that'll probably make things a little easier, and really get to learning on those too, just like we did here. And we had some experience, but really ready to take that one in here. And all the AMA stuff, I think they got some things to announce, and some we had talked about some other series, so looking forward to sticking with these guys too.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you so much for stopping in, Ryan. I know you're disappointed. The good news is we get to see you tomorrow. You've got 2 bites at the apple, and so good luck tomorrow night. With that, Sam said it, and it's worth repeating it, and I'll say it to you because you're going to hear it anyway. But Sam said earlier, you've been going to school on Greg Evans. At some point, class is going to end and recess is going to start. And I very much look forward to when that happens, because it's going to be a ton of fun to watch. With that said, thank you so much for stopping in. Friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. Floor is yours, Greg. Or Ryan, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Greg.
It's been a day for me, man.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, one more shot tomorrow. But we'll, in case we don't see you tomorrow, my girlfriend is always putting up with all this stuff. she's helped in more ways than just watching. So big shout out to her. Matt Surgical Supply, Maxima, Racing Oils, Heatwave Visual, AMA. This league is incredible, and we're sad to see this series come to an end. But still got one more tomorrow. Kendall, all the admins, all their sponsors: Archway Industrial Coatings, Black Magic Studios, Jack Racer, Rogue Energy, Admin Backs, and everybody else I may have not mentioned all year. Good shout at it now. Fanatec, definitely Track Racer again for this rig, and some other guys that are in a car, VRS, telemetry and all that stuff. If nobody's using that, go check it out. I don't want to give away all the secrets, but yeah, P1 Broadcasting, Mark, Sam, great talking to you as always, and I hope everybody enjoyed that one.
You're forgetting
Sure
one,
did.
Ryan.
Who's that?
Your mate.
Oh,
No,
my crew chief. That's my crew chief, man. Yeah. He always pops in and it startles me the first time, and then we get to talk about the race. So yeah, for sure.
So you need to go talk to Mike Rigney and Matt Wagner, because they're currently in the chat fighting over who gets to be your crew chief.
Oh my heavens!
So
I'm telling you,
I'll take either one.
I'm telling you, Ryan, you really should just go ahead and look into making some T-shirts, because you got a lot of fans this year.
yes, sir. Well, thank you so much for dropping in. Thank you so much for dropping by. It's a pleasure as always, Ryan. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. And we will see you at the next one. You hear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Congratulations to Greg, man.
Congratulations.
Absolutely. That's Ryan O'Donohue. He is the runner-up in the championship, runner-up in the race. The winner tonight, and I don't think it comes as any surprise to anybody, it is Greg Evans. Greg is live from Victory Lane, and we're going to see if we can't get the picture of his car to pop up in Victory Lane. I've been talking so long, Sam, that the car is not there. But Greg, you've got Murph, you've got Sam in the P1 Broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Finally got my breath now.
Yeah, it's Ryan O'Donohue threw everything but the kitchen sink at you. Couldn't quite get there. He had some damage on the car from an earlier incident. Kendall Paul put up a spirited fight. I thought at one point David Dunwoody was going to take the southern route through El Paso to try to pass you. He didn't quite get there either. Talk to us about your day and just what you did to fend off all of the challengers. And then I have an observation. O'Donohue caught you, and I have to ask, were you listening to the broadcast? Because I was calling out the lap times. He's catching him. And then all of a sudden you were gone, and I said, well, Greg's watching, and he heard me saying O'Donohue's catching him, and he said, I've heard enough of this. So talk to us about how you fended everybody off, my man.
No, I wasn't listening to the broadcast actually. That last run, I knew Ryan had got some damage, but I didn't know how much it was going to affect his car. But I knew he had a tire advantage. And honestly, for the last probably 25 laps, it was just run qualifying laps. And I had a feeling if he had significant damage, that the tires would catch up with me or catch up with him pretty quickly. And just got lucky. Got blessed. I really, when that caution came out, I felt like we was in a catbird seat again, and my heart sank because it's happened so many times this year. To be out front dominating and having it in the bag, and something like that happened. But I was contemplating when to pit that last run, and I felt like 40 to go was the right move because I knew I had to catch Kendall and Matt, or more so Kendall. And as soon as I came out, I think it was like 5 laps of green, and the caution came out, and I'm like, man, that's just my luck this year. But man, it was a great race. It was the first segment. We were just trying to feel everybody out, see where it was. I saved a lot of tire. Finally got past Kendall and had ran Ryan down, but in all honesty, I didn't want to pass Ryan. I had in the back of my mind that I might stay out that first stage. And I kind of just, at that point, I didn't want to have to make that decision. And I didn't want anybody to play off of me. So I was actually fine running second at the end of the first stage there. But second stage, we fired off really good. I felt like I had a really, really good feel for the car, and I was really saving, and the car just never really felt like it fell off. It looked like everybody else fell off quite a bit, and at that point, I felt really good. And then that final segment, it was just all about pacing ourselves and just kind of letting it play out. And like I said, everything just played in our favor except for that last caution, and then that last 25, 30 laps was I'm wore out.
I believe
Greg,
it.
another championship and another notch in the steering wheel, so to speak. I've seen you over the years. I've seen you win your fair share of races and your fair share of championships. You're a tremendous racer. You and I have had some long talks about the other competitors here in the AMA, and you shared how much respect you've got for a lot of these drivers here, especially drivers like Ryan O'Donoghue and Kendall. Can you just give us a little insight about your feelings of the league and how your season as a whole, how you feel about that, and where does Greg Evans go from here?
That's a good question. First of all, the league has been amazing. Like I said last week, I've actually had more fun here probably than I have in a lot of other places. Everything's been fair. And I hate to say this on broadcast, but we've been blessed to have 14 wins this year, and in a lot of leagues, whenever that starts happening, when you start winning more, sometimes leagues will target you in a way, and I never really felt like that was the case here. They raced me clean all year long, and everything just kind of fell in our favor, and that's all you can ask for as a racer. Just fairness, and I really felt like halfway through the year it would come down to Ryan and Kendall and myself. And I mean, even having 13 wins coming into this last race, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. You throw yourself and four other guys into one race, and there's just so much out of your control. I knew that Ryan and Matt got together, and I felt really bad for Ryan because I really wanted to. Whoever I was going to race, I wanted to race him straight up, and I felt bad for Ryan. He had a tire advantage, but I knew he had quite a bit of damage there too. So just overall, the league has been exceptional. I can't praise them enough. Thank you guys again for broadcasting too. If you've never raced in a league that broadcasts it, man, it to me it just makes it that much more special. To be able to really go back, hear commentators talk about it. But
what's even more
year,
special about that is you've got Sam who's actually competent. So there's that too, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Mark. But man, it's been a blast. I think next year, I don't know what Kendall's plans are. I think he's going to make an announcement here soon. In all honesty, I have no reason to go anywhere else right now. I do like to skip around occasionally and just kind of find out where I stand at. But I mean, as of right now, as long as they invite me back, I really don't. I only get to race one night a week, and Thursdays is a really good night. I'd love to race more trucks, but Fridays just doesn't work out with my family and stuff. So we'll see what happens. I know Kendall's got some decisions to make, but hopefully I'm invited back, and maybe you'll see me here again next year with some teammates. Maybe we'll talking to some guys.
I'm sure that the invitation will be extended. You're a wonderful and deserving champion, Greg. Congratulations on probably one of it's gonna go down as one of the most dominant in AMAs in AMA and the Interstellar Racing League. Before that, it's going to go down as one of the greatest seasons in this league's history. And so, congratulations on the win tonight. Congratulations on the championship. You know the drill. You've been up here many a times. Friends, family, sponsor, shout outs. The floor is yours, Greg.
Man, I appreciate you guys. I've never done this, but I just got to do woo! It feels good. Hopefully, I didn't wake my
It
daughter up there.
does.
Hopefully, I didn't wake my daughter up there. Hopefully, she's in bed.
It does.
Uh,
At least you get a championship, and you don't have you don't have people calling you telling you, hey, we need to measure you for things, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah. And I told Sam, man. I
Wait,
talked
the
to him,
car's not past tech. The car's not past
That's
tech.
that's exactly right. But man, this has been a heck of a year. And like I said, thank you guys for broadcasting it. Thanks Sim Magic, Sim Shop, Sim Lab, Freightliner, of course, Sure Tape and Duct Tape. Working on a few things maybe for next year, something a little different. We'll see what happens, but man, anytime you win a championship, it feels so good. And if we would have finished second or third tonight, I'd been disappointed after dominating this year. But man, it just the competitors around here, Ryan and Kendall, David, if they had won, they'd have been just as deserving. So congratulations to those guys on an excellent season, and hopefully we'll see them again next year as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Congratulations, Greg.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Greg. Thank you so much. We're honored to have you up here. Congratulations again on the championship, and keep going fast, having fun, buddy. And I'm sure we'll see you next season. All right.
And Mike Rigney is just shouting your praises in chat, saying congratulations.
Now tell Mike I love him, and maybe he'll send me an IndyCar in the off season. Some we'll see.
You can bet he's listening. You can bet he's listening.
I'd like to see that. Now with the daylight savings time going back, I told Mike, I said, I've got a broadcasting commitment on Mondays, but as soon as the time changes, it'll be in place for me to make it. So you go race Indy cars on Monday nights. You can come run with me. I think we got O'Donohue gonna come over there. I think that'd be fun, right?
Yeah, we need to talk Rigney. I think his league runs on Tuesday nights, if I'm not mistaken.
Monday.
So,
It's Monday.
Monday
Yeah,
at
nights.
9:05.
There's no reason for him not to come over here and run some. So if I go over there, he's got to come over here some.
I think that can you should talk to him. I've told him he needs to come run a truck. I think that would be tremendous. But you should talk to him. Get a crew together and come do this thing in 26. But thank you so much, Greg, for your time. Congratulations on the championship. You've more than earned it.
Thank you, guys. We are working on a little bit of something for next year. I didn't really have any teammates this year, but me and Sam running the league together, and I think Lewis Hayes came over here at the end of the season. Lewis is a great guy, so I think we could talk to some other guys that might be interested. So maybe I'll, especially at the plate tracks, maybe I'll have a little better luck there, because it's been like basically it felt like 1 on 20 the last couple all the plate races. So we'll see what we can do next year, but it's going to be exciting. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Greg. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Congratulations.
See you guys.
It is Greg Evans. He is the winner tonight. He is the champion. And with that, we're going to go ahead and bring in series director Kendale Paul. Kendale, you've got Murph. You've got Sam in the P1 broadcasting booth. You congratulations, first of all, from us on a exciting 2025 AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. We had, what was it, 33 races in the series?
Yep.
And so the long haul is coming to an end for Sam and I tomorrow night. Sam, we will have called 58 races together this year. 58.
What is wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I
That's-
don't even know what's wrong with me.
There's a lot wrong with you if you want to hang out with me 58 times a year for 3 hours at a shot. But thank you so much, Kendale, for having us. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you. Talk to us about next year.
Yeah, 2026 is going to be an exciting thing. First of all, before I get to 2026, I got to congratulate Greg Evans on the championship. It's well deserved for him. He's been an amazing driver to have in the league. And I was listening to the broadcast. He is more than 100% welcome to come back in 2026. We love having him here, and he's somebody to learn off of for everybody. So I can't thank him enough. He's been such a great guy to race with and a great competitor. as a league director, that makes my life a lot easier. And he's been giving us some advice and everything on how to run the league a little bit better and that sort of stuff. So I can't thank him enough. And huge congratulations to him. And then the rest of the championship field, they ran a good race and put on a good show for us here in the finale here in Phoenix. It's like we mirror the NASCAR series. This is the last time we will be here at Phoenix crowning a champion. We've crowned our champion here for the last 3 consecutive years. We'll put a close to that tomorrow night for the Truck Series. Like real NASCAR, we're going to go to Homestead, which I'm really excited for, and be the first time in AMA history to change the venue up for the championship deal. But 2026 is going to be very exciting. We're going to have the return of the Grand National Series and the Truck Series. Wanted to come up here and make the official announcement. We officially signed a new sponsor for the Grand National Series for 2026. So I would like to welcome Outland Custom Arms as the series sponsor for 2026. So it'll be the Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. Super excited to have them on board and that sort of stuff.
Tell us a little bit about who they are.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I'll give you the mission statement that he gave me. It's Outland Custom Arms our mission is to provide hunters and outdoors sports people with precision crafted firearms rooted in the Oregon's rugged legacy. Every build is hand tuned for performance, reliability, and uncompromising pursuit of the perfect shot. So, so it's a up and coming company. Randy Dunlap is the owner of that company, and he reached out to us. I wanted to be a part of this league and help it make it better and bigger. So he's doing that for us with a sponsorship and going to make a lot more things more possible for AMA. So I can't thank him enough, and really excited to have him on board for 2026. We have one more announcement for tomorrow. I'll save it for tomorrow. Really the most important, the important one, another important one tomorrow. But like I said, I can't thank Randy Dunlap enough, and really excited for the 2026 campaign. And we're working on a few other things for 2026. We've been floating around an idea of another series, so it may be coming in the works, may not. We'll see. We'll see what the off season brings us and what planning does and everything.
Winged sprint car figure eights at Irwindale.
I guess we can put that on the table, but that would be a very interesting series.
Jumpy
for
trucks?
Sure.
We're going to run jumpy
get
trucks.
That when you get your cookies from Brian Sharp.
If I get my cookies, he can sponsor the jumpy trucks and
jumpy. Here, I get an idea. You could race sprint cars on jumpy truck tracks. That would be perfect.
That would be a lot of you would have to have stylish points. You would have to see you could do a front flip in the race and get extra 5 points. But yeah, like I said, we're planning on something for 2026, and also, if you're not already, follow us on Facebook at the American Motorsports Association. We're also on Instagram. We're gonna have a few other key announcements. I'll go ahead and announce it here as well as we're gonna have the second annual AMA Snowball Derby. As well here in later, I believe here in December is when we're kind of planning. But follow us on Facebook for that official announcement. Really excited about that, and we got a few other things in the off season that we're gonna do, and then a few other more special events that we're gonna plan on for doing in 2026. Like I said, I'm really super excited for 2026. Now it's time to put 2025 chapter closed and do a little bit of decompression, and we'll get back to planning and get back to hard work here. To make 2026 bigger, better, and faster, and better overall.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, Kendale, and that is really awesome news on the new sponsorship. Keep doing all the things that you do, because the AMA has been a ton of fun for us to call, and we look forward to the next season. So, congratulations on a fine Grand National series, and we look forward to seeing you in the truck tomorrow. Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, thank you guys, and thank you for all you do. That's all throughout the season. It is a long haul, 33 races, 25 for the Truck Series, and you said it, 58 races. It's a long season, and it's a truckload of fun. But it is a long season. But I can't thank you guys enough for picking up the torch and really just hitting it out of the ballpark for us. And can't thank you guys enough.
Yeah, you're more than welcome, my man. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Yep, see you tomorrow.
Take care, Kendo.
See you, sir.
That is Kendale Paul. He is the series director. And Sam, that's some pretty big news that you would pick up a new paying sponsor.
A title sponsor?
Yeah,
Oh,
title
that's
sponsor.
huge.
Yeah, and that's
There are so many leagues in iRacing, so many private leagues, and they cannot secure title sponsorship. So to be able to say that you can do that, or that you have that's huge.
yeah, and not just one but two.
Yes, exactly.
Not just one but two, and so Kendall Paul definitely has the momentum working in his favor in the American Motorsports Association. We do want to thank Blackmagic Studios for stepping into the breach and being the title sponsor of the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series tonight. It was Greg Evans in not dominating fashion. He had to work for it. Kendall Paul led the race some. Ryan O'Donoghue appeared to have the fastest car at stretches. But in the end, it was kind of the same story. Greg Evans at the front, Ryan O'Donoghue desperately trying to catch him and coming up a bit short. And I'm with you, Sam. At some point, school is going to end, and then we're gonna really have some fun. I also look forward to what the future holds, not just for Ryan in this series, but in others. I look forward to getting to race with some of these guys. Say hey, Lewis Hayes, maybe Ryan O'Donoghue, maybe a guest appearance or two by Greg Evans, Mike Rigney, Matt Wagner in the audience tonight. I look forward to racing some of those guys starting one more time on Monday night. And so we are not done here on the P1 Broadcasting Channel. AMA, Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. It is the Archway Coatings 150. That's going to be live tomorrow night, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 race start. Don't miss that one. Mercifully, we have Saturday off. Sunday, Gary Godso, Luis Gonzalez Nunez. The Votive Indy Oval Series live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That is the Season 3 finale. On Monday night at 7 o'clock, Sam. 7, not 8, 7. It's the IndyCar Series Monday Night Top Split live from Sonoma. Immediately following that, we're going to have a twin bill. It's the Indy Next Road Series Monday Night Top Split from Olton Park. So the IL-18 is going to Olton Park at 9. And then the flagship broadcast, Onyx Open Wheel Lotus 79 Series. They're going to be at Iowa. And Sam, I've gotten tuning up that old Lotus. I think I'm going to join you guys. Tuesday night, it's the IndyCar Oval Series Top Split live from Las Vegas, 7:15 live from Las Vegas, and then 8:15. These are time changes. It's going to be the Indy Next Oval Series Top Split from Gateway. Wednesday night, the Horizon IndyCar Series takes on the Phoenix Raceway. That is round 12, the penultimate round of the series. At 8:20, the Formula Indy Series goes from Portland. The Indy Next qualifying series second split from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course is going to be next Thursday. That will be myself and Jacob Collins on the call, and that will bring us to a close for the week for everybody involved in the AMA, the drivers, the competitors, the sponsors, the fans, the broadcasters especially. We want to make sure we thank the people that really make this possible. The military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs driving that ambulance, Sam, and the nurse that unloads you when you get to the hospital. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. We surely do.
One more thing. Yeah, absolutely. I want to make sure that I put my 2 cents worth in about all the viewers that have been so faithful tuning in week in and week out. It's not just those folks that showed up and encouraged us in the chat, like our regulars, like Mike Rigney and several others, but it's just kind and generous people like Shelby Carricker and others who make contributions to the broadcast monetarily and conversational wise. And then there have been so many people that have been here to support their loved ones through the season. I know there's been a lot of Liam Anderson fans this year that have really come out to support Liam Anderson.
They'll be back tomorrow night.
Series. Yeah, for tomorrow night. And there's just so many of the folks that take time out of their Thursday and Friday night to tune in. And so I just wanted to express my gratitude to those that have come out and joined you and I for these races. So thank you. And of course, a thank you to all the professionals that you just mentioned that help us in so many other ways.
Absolutely, Sam. With that, you and I need to take a 21-hour break, and we will see everybody here tomorrow night. Good night, everybody.
Good night.